Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday, February 20th, 2026. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Yeah, I'm actually just going to forego the news, and I'm going to do play-by-play of the men's semifinals Olympics hockey match that is mandatory viewing right now for the U.S. Olympic team. No, I'm kidding. We are monitoring it, though. You know I'm monitoring it. I can't help myself. But you know we're pulling for the boys. Looking good. This is actually their best first period performance. They just dropped the puck. All right, we got news. We're going to do a show. Relax. We got the news. The big news, it's all economic. And it's not good. It's not good. Obviously, you know, this Trump campaign, this Trump gaslighting, this Trump propaganda on the economy has already been an issue. But now we got problems. And I think Trump, in a way, was kind of hoping that the tariffs would pull through, not just with the Supreme Court decision, but also with the economic results. And now neither has worked. And all this money he keeps talking about that came into the country, it just doesn't exist. I don't know how else to put it, guys. It just literally doesn't exist. And this was Trump's big talking point. This was Trump's big midterm push. It's what he just campaigned on in Georgia. And it's bombing. It's tanking. Now, there's some other surrounding news. So the GDP, bad. The inflation, not good. I don't know if you would say the inflation is bad, but the recent report is not good. And then the Supreme Court tariff decision. So we're going to cover all of that. And then there's some other outlying news dealing with Howard Lutnick. This Lutnick story, my goodness, what a disaster. As if the Epstein-Lutnick connection wasn't bad enough. Now it's even worse. And I'm looking at this. I mean, folks, Lutnick looks like one corrupt son of a bitch. Honestly, I can't believe that Trump is keeping this guy around anymore. It really makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder what Howard Lutnick is doing in this administration today. That's unbelievable. What an absolute disaster. So we got all that. What else do we got? We got a little bit of a geopolitical update here. Oh, we need a distraction. Nobody supports the war with Iran. The Epstein files, the total disaster, the economy not good. We need a distraction. Bring in the aliens. Bring in the aliens. And I guess we would always kind of joke that that's what they were eventually going to do as this train continues to derail and plummet, this Trump train. We always assumed they'd bring out the aliens. Now they're bringing out the aliens. But I will say there's something different with this. I'll explain the difference because a lot of people are kind of missing a lot of swings and misses out there. That's why we come in. That's where the Owen Report comes in. When everyone else swings and misses, you got to bring in your highest batting average hitter. So we're going to take care of that today. Let's see here. Tucker Carlson update. A Les Wexner clip. We do have some Goy Olympic slop for you. You know I got to do my Goy Olympic slop. It's the last weekend, guys. It's all over. It's all over after this weekend. So we got to do a little Goy Olympic slop here. We like the Olympics. We like the nationalism. We like cheering for the country, the good Patriots. So deal with it. So we got a little bit of that. Honestly, though, it's a light news day by design today. And so I may do something we have not done in weeks. I may open up the phone lines, or we might just do maybe a chat-heavy show. Maybe a super chat-heavy show. We'll see what happens.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
All right, guys. Do you start to feel like everything's just about to collapse? Is it starting to feel like everything is about to just totally collapse? Are you having this same kind of instinctual feeling right now? Are there some survival instincts kicking in? I know there are for me. And anybody who's already thought about this, obviously, you know the types of things you need to do for preparedness. Food, water, and energy. Don't forget about energy. So maybe some of you have already started to prepare like me, but I'm even thinking about getting more and more prepared. I'm dead serious. I'm just saying, is the whole thing going to collapse now with Trump? And I'm kind of thinking about what I've got again as far as emergency preparedness is concerned. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I do need more of that, or maybe I do need more of this, or you know what? I don't even know if I properly addressed this. Well, I got good news for you. And this deal is a limited time deal, and it's supposed to be done this weekend. So I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you that, but that's supposed to be done this weekend. This is the Mount Rushmore of preparedness from My Patriot Supply. Now, they're calling it that because it's got food, water, power, and heat. So it's one of those things where you can just check off all of the boxes. But here's the real offer right here. This is the offer that's no longer going to be available. You can scan the barcode that we have on the screen, or you can go to preparewithowen.com. But here's the deal. They have the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator. Now, unlike gas generators, this solar generator is silent, safe to use indoors, and is completely off-grid. So when you purchase this right now at preparewithowen.com, you'll get over $800 in free preparedness gifts, including a 4-week survival food kit, water filtration, a cook stove, and more. So that's why they're calling it the Mount Rushmore of preparedness. Go to preparewithowen.com or scan the barcode on the screen. This checks all the boxes. So if you're somebody that's done zero preparedness, or maybe you've done some preparedness, but you haven't really thought about power, this is the package for you. But it's done after this weekend, folks. This is it. The Mount Rushmore of preparedness offer at preparewithowen.com. It will be gone after this weekend. So consider that. If you're listening to this message and you feel like everything's going down, you got some of these instincts kicking in, you're starting to wonder, now's the time. Preparewithowen.com, the Mount Rushmore of preparedness. This deal will be gone after the weekend.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
You guys want to hear a life hack? I don't know if you would call it a life hack. This is a hack I discovered. I've always told you this, guys, it's a Friday. We're going to keep it loose today. It's been a heavy week, you know. It's been a heavy week, and we've had a couple of long days. Had a bit of a long day today leading into the show. Had an early day, busy day. Very active on X today. And it's Friday. It's Friday. So we're gonna keep it a little light today, if you don't mind. We're gonna keep it a little light. We do have some news. But we're gonna keep it a little light. All right. It's okay. Sometimes you got to lighten things up a little bit. Things are really heavy. There's a lot of pressure going right now. But we're going to keep it light. So I'm wearing this shirt today. This is the official Olympic shirt. I think this was from 2024 Olympics, maybe. Does it say on here? I don't know. Here's the hack for you. Because I've been in, as I explained earlier, it was like people always complain, well, why do you always talk about the Olympics? People don't care. Well, look, I talk about sports like 1% of my coverage, so just relax. And some people do care. And it's also like, isn't it good to kind of inject me into the sports matrix every once in a while? And then you kind of bring some of the people into the real world, like into the relevant stuff. By the way, I think I just saw that Viva Fry Free. I call him both names now because I never remember. So we're going to give him two names. He's Free Fry. Viva, I'm competing with him for the best hair in media. I got a little bit to go. But I wanted to see this. He's been all over this Canadian curling scandal, and he used to curl himself. And it is outrageous that Canada has not been banned from these Olympics. It is outrageous. Viva, can you give me some backup here? It is outrageous. And that punk, that absolute Canadian punk who got caught cheating, and he's whining and complaining. He's like, oh, they set up the camera to catch me cheating. Yeah, no kidding. Duh. Like, you're such a notorious cheater that they knew if they filmed you across the line that they'd catch you cheating, and then they did. I can't believe that punk. Where is the Canadian honor? I've got to tell you, I'm watching the Canadian hockey fans today, and for some reason, it drives me nuts watching Canadians be happy. Can I just be honest about something here? It drives me crazy now, and I feel we got a lot of Canadian friends. We got a lot, we're having fun. It drives me nuts. And the Canadians, they're suffering this Olympics. If the men's team doesn't bring home the gold, they're going to, I don't know, the whole country might collapse. The whole country could collapse. There was another barn burner today. And I'm just like, how can they not boot the Canadian team? How did the Canadian team not get booted from these Olympics? It's one of the biggest Olympic scandals in recent memory. And then they need to be banned from the 2030 Winter Olympics. It's outrageous that the Canadian curling team has not been banned. Anyway, I digress. I saw Viva in the feed here, so I had to bring him up because I saw him commenting on this. But man, halfway through the game, the Canadians are playing Bennington in net because he's the big game goalie. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, but you got to get through another 30 and odd minutes. But this is the best game the U.S. men's team has played. Look, they're going to get another one this period, I guarantee it. Anyway, as I was saying, I got distracted here by Viva. As I was saying, I've always been into the Olympics ever since I was a kid. I loved watching it with my mom, my dad. Just always been into the Olympics. And here's an Olympic hack for you. If you like patriotic apparel, or you like Olympic apparel, like this shirt I have on, because what they do is guys, come on, it's Friday. Can you just relax for a second? Bring the hate in the chat because we're smiling a little bit today. I got the news. Would you guys relax? Jeez, man. Good Lord. I'm trying to help you out here. I'm trying to help some people out here. Shroy Vey. What they do is they upcharge all of the Olympic gear when it's on, and then they run all their ads. And then the day the Olympics are over, it all goes like 50% off. Just a little FYI. I've been doing this my whole life with Olympic apparel. Starting with, I believe it was, I have it all in a bin in there. Some of it I still wear. It's nostalgic. It reminds me of the better times, let's say. But I'm just saying, when the Olympics over, especially if you go to, I don't know who has the exclusive deal on the apparel. As soon as the Olympics are over, if you actually go to the store, usually in a mall, they'll have all of their Olympic gear on the clearance rack. All of it. So just a little Olympic apparel hack if you're into that kind of stuff. Or you can go to the owenschroyer.store website and get our brand of U.S. patriotic apparel. All right. All right. All right. All right. You've had enough. You had enough. I told you it's Friday, guys. We're just relaxing. We're just trying. It's been a heavy week, you know. Oh yeah, and did you see? They had a bunch of Olympic nostalgia apparel at the official Olympic site. And last I checked, I'm sure some of it is sold out by now. Usually the mediums and the large of the better stuff sells out by the end of it. They had a 1938, whenever the famous Olympics in Nazi Germany, they had the Nazi Germany Olympics apparel. That was the apparel that sold out first. That was the first apparel to sell out, was the Nazi Germany Olympic apparel on the website. All right. I've avoided the news. Have I avoided it long enough? Do we have to get serious now, guys? You're going to make me cover news again? You're going to beat me? You're going to beat me like cattle? You're going to whip me like an ox in the field? Going to make me work? Is that what you expect? I don't think it's Hugo Boss. No, I think it's whoever makes their apparel. But isn't that funny? That was the first to sell out. Speaking of sellouts, the White House, see, that's a professional. That is a professional segue. You're getting the best here. So the official Olympic website sold out of their Nazi Germany Olympic apparel. It was the first apparel to sell out for the 2026 Winter Olympics. Speaking of sellouts, the White House just posted this on their official X account. America first. Read the room. So I decided to pop in to the comment section. It's not going so well. It's pretty much all sarcasm and satire, and you can definitely get an idea of the direction it's going over there. So, yeah. Ooh. Oh, boy. Oh, my. Oh, good. Oh, jeez. Oh, there's one positive one. Hey, we got one positive one. We got one positive one, guys. How about that? There you go. And so we've reached a point now, and this is not good. And look, I understand there's political strategy for victory, and then there's also, hey, we've got to respect the Constitution. And this idea, I hate this. And I see a lot of people on the right that are supporting this of ending the filibuster. I hate this. I think this is the dumbest thing. I think this is the dumbest strategy. These people act like that Trump is going to be in power forever. It's this weird level of the Trump derangement syndrome on the right now. And maybe that's partially because, this is what Trump wants. He talks about how he wants to be a dictator. And a lot of the things he said today in response to the tariff decision indicate so. This idea of ending the filibuster is just awful. I'm sorry. And I know that there's some contention on the right about this. And I get it from a strategic standpoint. And you say, hey, look, we need to get all of this stuff done. Folks, you understand, if you get rid of the filibuster, do you have any idea the power that you're giving Democrats? Do you have any freaking idea? I'm just stunned at how ignorant these people are. Whatever you think you're going to get accomplished in this administration by ending the filibuster, you're going to get it 20 times worse when the Democrats take back power. And it's like you're already starting to see kind of the panic button. You're already starting to see the panic button from Susie Wiles and from the Trump administration. So Susie Wiles, oh, we need Trump to campaign. We're going to lose the midterms. We need to send Trump out there to campaign. Oh, great. Great. Trump going out there. Now Trump's campaigning. How many of you, for those of you that haven't sent the notifications into your spam, for those of you that haven't sent the GOP, Republican, Win Red, Trump campaign, for those of you that haven't spammed those emails yet, for those of you that haven't blocked those text messages yet, the messaging right now is we're desperate. We're desperate. Do you want the Democrats to take power? So what do you got? So I'd love to hear this strategy. Oh, okay, we need to nuke the filibuster so we can ram a bunch of stuff through. It'll be good for the country. They say, oh, the Democrats are going to do it anyway. Okay, all right. It's all fair. But here's the thing. We've been hearing about the Democrats are going to do this stuff for years, and they still haven't done it yet because even the Democrats know that's too much. That's too dangerous. They're going to pack the court. They're going to end the filibuster. We've been hearing this for years. So what are you going to do? How are you going to end the filibuster? And then what are you going to do when the Democrats win the midterms? It's like they can't even think 2 or 3 steps ahead. Oh, and I love, oh, Trump's playing 4D chess. Oh, 5D chess. We're so smart. We play multidimensional chess. You can't even think 1 step ahead. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy what we've witnessed from the right now. They've become, obviously, policy-wise, it's different. Culture-wise, it's different. But as far as like mindset and execution, they are essentially just the woke right. They're just the same establishment right wing as the establishment left, woke left. And I get it more and more now because there's an Owen Schroyer Clips account, which I'll tell you, I don't even run. I don't even run that account. And I just tell them because, they post some pretty hard-hitting, punchy headlines over there. And they asked me, said, look, you run the account, you post the headlines. It's not me. So, you guys do you over there on that Clips account. So they post some pretty punchy headlines. And then I've posted some videos on X on my account. And here comes the woke right hate. Here comes the cuck-servative hate. And then I always get the text messages. I always get the messages, friends, other people in the media that all agree with what I'm saying, but they don't want to deal with that heat. They don't want to deal with that hate. They don't want it coming after them. And I totally get it. I totally understand. I don't blame them one bit. And it tells the story about how the woke right has become just as hateful as the woke left. And that's the truth. And I'm somebody that's dealt with it all. I'm somebody that's dealt with the hate from the left. And I'm telling you right now, it's just as bad. To be on the receiving end of it now is just as bad from the hate woke right. It's just as bad. I guess the only thing they're falling short of right now is they haven't had mass censorship and mass imprisonment, but they're thinking it. Oh, they're thinking it for sure. They're thinking it. They're wishing it even. So we all see it. And then they post America first, and then you see the replies. And now they've got these botnets on X. They got these botnets that are rigging polls, trying to rig the reply section. Nobody's falling for it. So what do you do? Okay. So what do you do? So you got this unpopular war with Iran that you're trying to start. It's not looking good. You've got the Epstein files that now they're erasing, by the way. They're erasing them now. We were supposed to be getting more, so who knows what the real number is. I'd say at most we've gotten 40%, at the least maybe 5%. I guess it kind of depends on your metrics. And now people are starting to share some of the videos. It's bad. And they're telling you to move on, nothing to see here, nothing substantial. I mean, it's embarrassing. So it's just a disaster. So the economy, disaster. Epstein files, disaster. Foreign policy, disaster. Can't get the deportations, can't end all the foreign wars, can't end the foreign aid. Hell, can't even end the left-wing garbage, can't even end DEI, can't even end all the welfare, can't even get mass arrests for waste, fraud, and abuse. Doge, gone. All a complete disaster. And all you have is Trump up there gaslighting, and then you have the cuck-servatives that say, and this is literally what they say now, loyalty is the most important thing. Loyalty is the most important thing. Yes, that's right. That's right. I know. When you guys get home and another man gets into bed with your wife and you got a chair right next to the bed, you guys sit down in that chair and you say, loyalty is the most important thing and I trust the plan. And you sit down in your chair right next to the bed. Yeah, for some of you, I hope it's a high chair so you can at least catch some of the action, you know? For some of you, you probably need a high chair. Otherwise, you're going to miss the show. You're going to miss the action. But that's it. Oh, honey, what are you doing? You're getting into bed with another man. Well, I trust the plan, and loyalty is the most important thing. So I'm going to sit in my chair right here. Is there a booster seat? Can I get a high chair? No? Okay. Well, I'll just have to imagine what it's like then, I guess. They're chair maxers. That's what we have. And they're in total denial. And I wonder how long that's going to last, by the way. Some of them are literal paid propagandists. Others have built their entire career off of the MAGA grift and selling Trump gear and Trump hats and everything else. So they probably don't have an option. But I wonder how long this denial is going to last. I feel like it's starting to break. And, you know, maybe there's some reasonable doubt and there's some reasonable holding out. It's starting to break. I think it's starting to break. Hey, I'll make you the same offer, bud. And we get the haters in the chat now. I love it. I'm so glad you guys are here. Isn't that funny? You guys, even you guys tune in. Because you know everyone else is irrelevant. Even the haters tune in here because everyone else is irrelevant. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, Owen, you need to support Trump or we're going to lose the midterms. Really? So I have more influence than Trump? Wow, thank you. So I'm more relevant than Trump? Wow, that's incredible logic. Amazing. So come on, bud. Here's my offer to you. Here's my offer to you, bud. I will give you access to every single bank account I have. Every single bank account. And if you can find anyone that pays me, if you can find anyone outside, foreign, whatever you think is propaganda, I'll give you access to all my bank account. And if you find anybody that you think pays me, I'll give you every dollar I have. And if you don't, and when you don't find anything, I just want half of your money. Is that fair? Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is, bud. Come on, big boy. Come on, let's hear it. Do you agree? Do you agree to these terms? If you can find anybody paying Owen Schroyer to attack the administration, I will give you every single dollar I have. And you know what? Just for kicks, you can come into my studio with a sledgehammer. You probably think that's a garage door behind me with a 3-foot drop from the ground to the floor. Come on, bud. Oh, silent, huh? These people are such losers, man. They're such losers. Man. Such freaking losers. I'm having fun on a Friday. What can I say, guys? What can I say? U.S. winning big. Okay, buddy. All right, buddy. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. I get half of your money. That's all I ask is I get half of your money. Everybody, I'll give you all access if you think anybody is paying me off. I'll give you access to all of my bank accounts. Every statement. Oh, you're backing off now. Yeah, of course you are, because you're a coward and a fraud like the rest. But you live in the show. You live here. You live in the show with everyone else because there's nowhere else for you to go. So that's fun. All right, I need to get out of the chat. All right, let's do a show. Let's actually get to the content. Let's actually get to the content here. So the America First post isn't going so well. So here's your latest gaslighting from Trump. So you got all the disasters, the economic disasters. Can't get the deportations. Doge is done. More foreign wars, more foreign aid, all of it. And then the Epstein files disaster. So you've got Trump that says this last night. He's got to distract somehow. He's got to get attention off of it somehow. Based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, and unidentified flying objects, and any and all other information connected to those highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Okay. Now, UAPs and UFOs is one thing. To sit here and talk about alien and extraterrestrial life is a completely different thing. And I'm noticing most people are not really understanding this. And it's not like this is some rocket science. I just mean everybody kind of wraps this all into one. And this is basically President Trump insinuating that the U.S. government knows aliens are real or extraterrestrial life is real. That's essentially what Trump is saying. Now, you got to wonder how much of this is planned. How much of this is flood the zone to collapse everything? Honestly. Collapse everything, and then you've got your AI surveillance government on the other side. So collapse everything, show how the whole system is corrupt, show how the whole system is compromised. Oh, and now there's aliens. And then, okay, it's collapsed, so we're going into the AI central bank digital currency surveillance state, and that's it. Now you're trapped forever. How much of it is just all about that? And that's what the big 4D chess is really about. Or how much of this is that the Trump administration is in complete panic mode right now because everybody's talking about the Epstein files for 3 straight weeks and they need something to distract us. So what are they going to do? And I already see these stupid AI pictures. You've probably seen them. These are probably government accounts or something. And they've got these stupid AI pictures that they're posting now. They're like, look at this UFO today. Oh my gosh, it's clearly AI. Do you think we're stupid? You know what? Yes. And you know what? I guess some of us are. I guess that's true. I guess there will be masses that fall for whatever this alien false flag is going to be. But it's so hilarious. Based on the tremendous interest shown. Where is the interest here? What are we talking about? Where have aliens or extraterrestrials or UAPs or UFOs been trending anywhere in American life? Anywhere? Because everywhere I go, we're talking about foreign policy. Anywhere I go, we're talking about the economy. Anywhere I go in the last 3 weeks, we're talking about the Epstein files. So where is the tremendous interest shown? So again, I go back to this. I fall back to this because it's so unreal. How can Trump be this bad? Honestly, guys. How can Trump be this bad? It's an honest question. Is it really this bad? Is it all distraction and misdirection? It's crazy to think it's this bad. Now, I will say, and maybe some of you can relate to this. I've seen situations. I've been in media long enough to see when something is really bad and people try to run a bunch of distraction stuff to pretend it's not. I've actually seen this. I've seen this before. So I know what happens when you're in something that's so big, but things are going so bad, and it's just like everybody that's still left just kind of plays along and just pretends like it's all good, no matter what. I could talk about some stuff maybe more recently, but one example would be this was, what was it, like 2015 or 16? Whenever the St. Louis Rams left St. Louis. And I remember there was so much coping at the time. And I was working the NFL games in St. Louis. I was working the games. I was in the St. Louis media. So I was part of the whole thing. And there was so much coping. It's like I knew the team was gone. I knew the deal was already done. And we would go on air and say, it's over, guys. The team is gone. It's over. And they would still have rallies and press conferences and, different media events and protests. And we'll give you taxpayer dollars. And, we got a proposal for a new stadium and all of this stuff. And we would just sit there every day and go, guys, it's over. It's done. And we knew everyone in the organization knew it was done. Everybody else in the media knew it was done. Everybody knew it was done. The team was gone. And they would go on air and say, oh, this new deal. Oh, this new press conference. Oh, we got them. And we'd just be sitting here shaking our heads like, it's you liars. So that's just an example. I've seen this before. But it's like, is it really this bad? Or is it all by design for something else? Because to me, there's no doubt. I mean, what is your doubt level right now that we haven't been completely sold out to this administration? Just completely sold out. I mean, Lutnick is still around. Epstein file denial. More foreign war, more foreign aid. I mean, you name it. Where is it all going? So, hey, we got aliens. So here's the bad news. All coming out on the same day, man. Fed's key inflation rate hot. So the inflation, I think it was like a little over 2%. Twelve-month core PCE inflation rate, 2.9%. So it's all these numbers. They throw all these numbers at you. Inflation is up. Income is down. It's all bad news. All the numbers are not good. So inflation up, income down. They were hoping for a better GDP number. Didn't come through. U.S. economic growth weaker than thought in fourth quarter with government shutdown, consumer pullback. Well, people just don't have money to spend. So the GDP didn't hit it. And by the way, I think it was Elon Musk that said, if it doesn't hit 2%, everybody should be fired. This would be a everyone fired situation. So then Trump comes out in response to the bad. Actually, Trump posted this before the GDP numbers even came out. The Democrat shutdown cost the USA at least 2 points in GDP. That's why they are losing. That's why they are doing it in mini form. Again, no shutdowns. Also, lower the interest rates. Too late, pal, is the worst. Oh, boy. Oh, good Lord. Actually, we want the government shutdown, and the government shutdown should not impact the GDP. And the fact that it does to such a degree shows how corrupt our country is, actually. And so we actually want a shutdown. And yeah, the interest rates are a problem, but we keep bailing out the banks, and so did this administration. And here's the answer. Tax relief. It's very simple. Tax relief. Cut the damn taxes. I don't want to hear about tax reform. This big lie about no tax on tips. It's a lie. They cap it at $25,000 or whatever it is, which is already the number that's untaxable anyway. It's all just a big game. It's all just a rug pull. It's all just a big lie. Cut the taxes. In fact, they just voted in Florida. Looks like in Florida, they're going to get rid of property taxes. That's going the right direction right there. Just get rid of the taxes. Americans need some relief. Cut the taxes. Stop lying to us. Stop doing the tax reform. Cut the taxes. Cut the damn taxes. Cut the corporate taxes. I mean, cut. End corporate taxes. End federal income tax. End property tax. Make it illegal. Literally end it. Cut is a lie. It's just some tax reform that barely impacts your bottom line. And then the big wallop. Supreme Court strikes down Trump's sweeping tariffs, upending central plank of his economic agenda. And you could tell today he was very distraught by this. Very distraught by this. And then this is the follow-up nightmare. U.S. tariff revenue at risk in Supreme Court ruling tops $175 billion. So this is basically the tariffs that were issued, and now they're going to have to do a refund. And Trump says, "Oh, we're going to be stuck in court for the next 5 years dealing with this," as if that makes it any better. So it's just a total disaster. It's just a total disaster. And where's all that money? I've brought in, what does he say? I've brought in trillions of dollars. Well, I brought in $100 trillion. I've brought in a gajillion dollars. We got so much money coming in. There's so much money. It's a bajillion, trillion dollars. Nobody's ever seen a jillion trillion before. We got it all. Oh, but you can't pay the $175 billion bill, huh? So I guess the money's not there. Guess that just didn't happen, huh? So no Doge checks, no tariffs checks, no tax cuts. GDP down, inflation up. It's the golden age. It's the best economy of all time. Everybody's saying it. We're hot. We're so hot. You just got to believe it. That's the key. Just believe it. Don't look into your wallet. Don't do that. No. Don't look at that bank statement. Don't do that. Don't look there. No, just believe it. Just buy it. Just eat the slop. And it's even worse when Howard Lutnick, who's already got enough scandal with this Epstein business, Howard Lutnick is looking to be an absolute disgusting person. As if it wasn't a bad with Lutnick hanging around after the Epstein files and the Epstein lies. And then we learn more about his 9/11 luck. Oh, and here's another stroke of luck for old Lutnick. Family of top Trump officials stands to make fortune from tariff ruling. Pure criminality. So Lutnick's son essentially cut some deal with the Cantor Fitzgerald on these tariff funds, and this ruling from the Supreme Court is going to kick back hundreds of billions of dollars to Cantor Fitzgerald and the Lutnick family. And this is all hitting the news, and Lutnick, who should be gone, who should have been fired in disgrace and kicked out get him out of here, you're fired. That should have been the attitude. No, there's Lutnick standing next to Trump today. Standing next to Trump at his press conference on the tariff ruling. It's unreal. It's unreal. We need to look at Lutnick for 9/11. We need to look at Lutnick for the Epstein Islands. We need to look at Lutnick for this tariff decision. And he's standing up there. And he's behind Trump, and he's in Trump's ear. He's like the puppet master of Trump. This is outrageous. It's disgusting. It's adding insult to injury that we have to sit there and stare at him now. So let me get this straight. This is how I imagined it went down. My guess is that Lutnick is the one that gave him this advice. Lutnick is probably the one that told him he could do this. Lutnick is probably the one that told him to do these tariffs. Lutnick is the one that said it was legal and he could do it and it would be great, knowing it wouldn't work. And so then Lutnick's son and the company makes a bet that the tariffs are going to fail. And then they win the bet for hundreds of billions of dollars. And it was Lutnick's idea. Absolutely crazy. And as if, oh, let's throw another one in there. The Trump administration comes out. They give a total betrayal of Maha. They give the glyphosate companies immunity. And oh my, right on the verge of this. Right on the verge. Bayer agrees to pay $7.25 billion to settle Roundup lawsuits. The agreement, which still faces legal hurdles, would cover current and future claims that the weed killer caused non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Oh, but did Trump just bail them out? Did Trump just bail them out and tell the cancer patients, F you? MAGA, baby. Maha. This is such a disaster. Maha moms turn against Trump. Women feel like they were lied to. President Trump's executive order at spurring production of a pesticide has infuriated leaders of health. Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Maha movement. This thing is off. It's been off the rails. Now the train is in midair, moments away from hitting the ground and blowing up. The train is off the rails. It is on fire, and it is about to crash and blow up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, that's what happens, folks. That's what happens when foreign interests and special interests run your country. That's what happens when you get totally sold out. That's what this is. That's what this looks like. That's what you've got.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
So, considering all this economic news today, I'm sure you've been thinking about it before. Maybe now you're thinking about it again. Maybe now you're thinking about it more than ever. And that is precious metals. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to protect your wealth in these crazy times? Well, our friends at Allegiance Gold want to help you out in that endeavor. They want to help you out. But before you make any decisions, folks, they want to talk to you. Make sure you understand everything. Make sure you have your decisions figured out. Make sure you have a very good understanding of exactly what you want to do and the decisions you're going to make. So all you got to do is give them a call. No pressure, no hassle. It's free, just a call. 844-790-9191. 844-790-9191. And they love talking about this stuff anyway, so they have no problem picking up the phone and having a conversation about it. They love talking about this stuff. It's what they do at Allegiance Gold. It's why they do it, and they want to help you protect your wealth. Now, right now, $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right. $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments, whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings. They can make it easy and simple to move into precious metals before who knows what happens, folks. And it's all getting crazier out there. So give them a call, 844-790-9191, or you can go right to their website, protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Allegiance Gold, they've been around for nearly a decade, trusted by over 7,000 clients nationwide, relationship-driven, A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's huge when you're talking about precious metals. A lot of precious metals companies struggle with the Better Business Bureau for obvious reasons. Not Allegiance. A+ rating. A+ rating. Protect your wealth, ladies and gentlemen. What are you doing to protect your wealth? Go to protectwithowen.com and protect your wealth, because no one else will.
Extra dimensional and multi-universal. Here's your host, Owen Schroyer.
I told you guys that it was the best game, the men's hockey team. I told you it was their best performance yet. They're up 5-0 after 2. Looking pretty good. About to drop the puck for period 3. All right. Yeah, honestly, you know, this current media cycle between the presidential election and the midterms is really unlike anything I've ever seen. And I've always kind of covered this. If you're a regular listener, you know I talk about how every election cycle, you know, the media landscape kind of shifts. And I said now it's like the fastest quicksand shifting sands that you've ever seen in the media. But it's even crazier. I mean, it's like the crash of Dan Bongino's show ratings. I don't know if you've seen that. The crash of the Bongino show ratings, which is anticipated. And then the crash out of the Tucker Carlson haters. And, you know, it's funny because some of these people are so psychotic that it's like I want to reply to them. But these are the types of people that will send SWAT team to your house and have them try to kill you. I mean, that's where we're at with this right wing. That's where we're at with this woke right. That's where we're at with this foreign influence, foreign lobbyist right. They want you dead. They will send SWAT teams to your house to have them shoot you and kill you. Or, I don't know, maybe at an event you have it at college. That's where we're at. That's how crazy this thing is shifting. That's how insane this whole thing is right now. So, man, I'm just witnessing it. I'm just going through it in the break. And, you know, maybe even, maybe I'll just tell you this now, and I didn't even intend to do this, but I'll just tell you this, guys, because I see, I guess some people weren't around or weren't following me a year ago when I got swatted and had a bunch of guns pointed at me, had a bunch of laser sights on my head and neck and back and chest. Yeah. Somebody tried to have me murdered via swatting. And of course, nothing from the federal investigation. They promised me they'd do something. They did nothing. They lied. And so I'll tell you, and I was talking to the president, the owner, founder of Patriot Protect earlier today. That's who I use. That's who I use to get my private information off the line so people can't try to kill me and harass and stalk my family, because that's what ended up happening with these freaks. And then you get nothing, folks. This is what I'm telling you. You get nothing from this federal government. They don't give a damn. Now, somebody says an anti-Semitic comment at a college gym, you're done. You're cooked. DOJ investigation, everything, your life is over. Somebody tries to have you murdered with a fake police report for a swatting, nothing, not interested. So maybe that tells you where it's coming from. But no, I was talking with the president of the company today. So I might as well just announce this for you guys now. Telling you guys it's serious out there. It's very serious out there, guys. So I'll just tell you this now since I'm talking about it. Normally, the offer for this show, the offer for this audience is 15% off a yearly subscription at patriot-protect.com. Now, it's tax season, so there's a lot of fake IRS calls. They do AI voiceovers. I got into all of it today with the president of the company. But folks, listen to this. Through this weekend, 50% off. 50% off a yearly subscription right now at patriot-protect.com/Owen. Are you hearing me? Guys, this is, if you haven't done it, you're actually lucky to get this offer. 50% off with coupon code Owen, guys. Are you listening to me? If you haven't got this service yet, this is the best offer ever. So through this weekend, patriot-protect.com/Owen, coupon code Owen, 50% off. 50, half off, guys. You cannot beat this deal. There's no better offer. There's no better service. Patriot-protect.com/Owen. I'm telling you, in these crazy times, especially if you're active on social media, guys, especially if you're active on social media. I'm telling you, you got to protect your private information. You got to protect your family. These people are psychos. They are psychotic freaks. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't let these psychotic freaks attack you and your family. They will do it. They're out of their minds. They are paranoid, schizophrenic, psychotic freaks, guys. 50% off through this weekend. Patriot-protect.com/Owen. Please. You got to take advantage of this. You got to protect your private information, guys. You got to protect your family. So, here's one. Here's a psychotic freak for you right here. Lindsey Graham. It's crazy to listen to these people talk. Honestly, it's just crazy. Listen to this interview with Lindsey Graham. And you can see the interviewer's face as he's talking it. Her face starts to cringe a little bit. It's like, I can't believe somebody would even say this stuff out loud.
When you look at the last few years since October 7th, many people in this part of the world say what happened in Gaza does not align with Christian values. Killing children, killing mothers,
I'll be honest
killing
with
families
you.
who are not militants.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
Why?
Because what did we do in World War II?
It's not against Christian values to kill innocent women and children, says Lindsey Graham in a nationally televised interview. So in other words, Lindsey Graham tells you, a Christian, that it is okay to kill women and children. It is okay to kill innocent women and children. And that is an okay Christian value in today's sense of the war in the Middle East. Again, the fact that he would even say that and not even try to couch it, not even try to back off of it or like put a little nuance or subtlety to it, just outright, now kill them all. I mean, this is a freak. I am embarrassed. I apologize to the world that we have psychotic, demonic, bathed in the blood of the innocent freaks like Lindsey Graham that run our government.
Did we think 1 minute about starving the Germans? Did we bomb every city to smithereens? So this is a war. No,
October 7th to World War II.
Yes, I am. This is an absolute existential threat to the Jewish people. What happened on October?
No, it's not. It's a war that's going on between Israel and the Palestinian people because Israel wants their land, which you are about to admit to, by the way, at the end of this interview. That's what it is. The Palestinians don't want to give their land to the Israelis. And so that's what this is. It's been going on for years. It's been going on for centuries even. This is not about a threat to the Jews. There is no American Jew that is worried about a Palestinian coming here and killing them. There's no October 7th style attack that's going to happen anywhere else to a Jewish person. And the only reason it even happened in Israel is because your buddies over there stood down on October 7th so that it could happen, so that they finally had the excuse to go in there and murder thousands, hundreds of thousands potentially of innocent people so that they could finally take the land.
October the 7th was 1,200 people were slaughtered, raped, and murdered and filmed by radical Islamists who would kill every Jew if they...
By the way, that whole angle, why did they film it? Maybe those were some intelligence assets that were embedded inside of Hamas. Maybe the intelligence assets embedded inside of Hamas wanted to film it so that the world could see it and then they could have their justification. Oh, yeah.
They could, to the world. If you don't understand this is a threat to Israel...
And then they flattened Gaza.
Just flatten it. We flattened Berlin. We flattened Tokyo. Were we wrong to drop an atomic bomb to end the Japanese reign of terror? Were we? So my view, if I were Israel...
So this guy would gladly vote to nuke. This guy would gladly vote to nuke another country. These are sick, demonic freaks.
I would have probably done it the same way. Without military victory, there is no hope of breaking radicalism. We flattened Germany.
Notice how he starts to pivot. Oh, this is about Israel's interest. Oh, this is about radical Muslims. Now he's just pivoting everywhere. This man is out of control. This is a honestly, this is like just straight up demon possession. This is just straight up. These people are demonically possessed. This is a demonically possessed person. Just look at him. Or this is like, maybe he has like an alien embedded in him, like in, what's that movie where the alien, like human hybrid gets in there? Forget the name of it. It's like that's what this is. Like this guy has an alien parasite that has turned him into a murderous, psychotic freak.
Flatten Japan.
How many Americans
Wait a
believe
minute.
this?
Out of that, we
the way that how many Americans think the way that you do?
I think most Republicans think the way I do.
Even young ones.
You're just out of touch if you know.
You're out of touch. So he admits that at least half the country doesn't agree with him. Already he admits at least half the country doesn't agree with him. And he admits that it's not even all Republicans that agree with him. You know what's sad? The American people, go ahead, let's send Lindsey Graham over there. How about that? I can't wait. Yeah, you guys want to go to war? Let's send Lindsey Graham and Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro and Laura Loomer and Josh Hammer. Let's send them. You guys join the front lines. Join the front ranks. You guys march in first. Let's see it. Oh, notice how none of the people that go on TV, none of the people that log into their social media accounts and post about all this war with Iran, war with Palestine, Hamas, whatever, notice how none of them go. They all post nice and safe and sound on the internet and on the media from America. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that nice? All these big mouths that wouldn't bust a grape in a food fight. All these big mouths from the safety and security of America. They talk big. They want war. They want more blood. They want more death. None of them go. They're not racing to the front lines. These people are an embarrassment in our country. They are a national embarrassment for our country. They are sick, psychotic freaks, and we should all be embarrassed. We should all be embarrassed when these people open their mouths and say such sick stuff like that. And here's Mike Huckabee admitting the quiet part out loud, which they're more willing to do these days, which is kind of a story in and of itself. Here's Huckabee saying the quiet part out loud.
22 miles of beautiful beachfront property, big hotels, wonderful tourist opportunities. It's aspirational. It could happen, but it will never happen as long as Hamas has anything to do with it. They have to go 22 miles of.
So it's always been about the property. Now, here's what's funny. So Kushner has said as much. Here's Huckabee saying it. It's always been about Israel getting that land. That's what it's always been about. That's great real estate, and Israel wants the beachfront property. That is all it's about. And you know what? Here, let's do a little both sidesism. Okay, I'll tell you what. People conquer land all the time. People conquer land all the time. All right. If Israel wants to go in and conquer that land, okay. Go for it. Go conquer the land. We don't want anything to do with it. You're not going to use American money. You're not going to use American military. If you guys want to engage in a war to conquer that land, okay, go ahead. We're not involved, though. We're not involved in that death. We're not involved in that slaughter. All right? We're not involved. And then, now they're not interested. See how that works? And why aren't they interested? Because the only reason they get away with this stuff in the region is because the American military is standing behind Israel, ready to bomb and kill any country that decides to fight back. And if the countries are willing to just take the money, like Egypt and others via foreign aid, we just pay them off. So if you're like Iran, we just bomb you. If you're like Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, we just bomb you. We just kill you for Israel. If you're like Egypt or Jordan or Lebanon, we just cut you a check and you just kind of sit down and shut up. But that's what this is all about. So Israel's not going to go in there and take care of this on their own because they know if they do that without the support of the United States, every other country in the region would be attacking and bombing Israel in response. And this is why they need us. And this is why you see them desperately spending millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in propaganda in America. This is why you see them spending hundreds of billions of dollars in political campaigns and to buy out congressmen and to buy out the media. because they would not be able to do this without the United States of America. So it's always been about the beachfront property. So Israel just looks at the Palestinians. Israel just looks at the Gaza Strip and says, we want that. So they just kill everyone and say it's ours now. And then they say, we have a religious deed. We have a religious deed to this property. That's what they say. So that's what it's always been about. And I, for one, as an American, want nothing to do with it. I, for one, as a Christian, want nothing to do with it. And you know, the most ironic part here, listen again. Here's the most ironic part.
22 miles of beautiful beachfront property, big hotels, wonderful tourist opportunities. It's aspirational. It could happen, but it will never happen as long as Hamas has anything to do with it.
Oh, it will never happen, he says. It literally happened, and Israel blew it up. Literally, the evidence is right there. They had an entire civilization on that property. There was an entire civilization on the property. There was an entire people that lived in the property, and they already had their own infrastructure, their own buildings, their own schools, their own soccer fields, you name it. They literally had a civilization there, and Israel just completely demolished it and killed them all. And Huckabee goes on Fox and says, man, there's so much potential. Imagine we could build buildings. We could have infrastructure. We could have beachfront property. They already had it. It was literally already there. And you're showing the rubble because Israel just blew it up, and you support it as a fake Christian, as a fake American. These people make me sick. Oh, they killed another American, by the way. This is the 4th or 5th, I believe. Israeli settlers kill 19-year-old Palestinian American. So Israel's killed at least 5 Americans over there. That's our greatest ally. That's our greatest ally, guys. Imagine if Iran killed 1 American. Imagine if Iran killed 1 American. They'd be nuked tomorrow. Israel kills 5 or more. Send them another billion. Send them another billion. So I'm sure you have seen I'm sure you've seen the latest wave of propaganda against Tucker Carlson. And I don't even want to get into he addressed it. He dropped the Huckabee interview. Good conversation. He drops the interview today. It came out. He addresses the whole situation as far as the detainment or whatever. So I don't want to get back into that. But I do want to say this: if you want to know why you see all the foreign propaganda, if you want to see why you have all the foreign agents and foreign propaganda and hate and lies aimed at Tucker Carlson, I'm going to play you the clip right now. This is why. You want to know why they attack Tucker so much? You want to know why they hate Tucker so much? This 2-minute clip. This is why.
So it raises, again, the question, who exactly is Huckabee working for? We're American citizens in a foreign country. He's our ambassador. He represents our country. We pay his salary, but he's taking the side of the foreign government without even calling to say, hey, what happened to you at the airport? Did you get hassled? Did your guys get hassled? No. He just immediately repeats their lies without even consulting us. So, what are we looking at here? We're looking at the reality, which is if you're an American in Israel, you can be certain that your government will take the side of the Israeli government and not your side. And really, is that so different from the experience of Americans in the United States? Can you be sure that your government will take your side over the Israeli government? No, of course not. They will always take the Israeli government's side over yours. And that's the core problem. Even if you support a war with Iran, I think the most pressing issue for Americans is that we kill the Ayatollah or whatever. you still have a fair expectation that your government, because it is yours, you pay for it, it exists to serve you, and for no other reason, you have an expectation that your government will take your side against a foreign government. But the daily lived reality, the obvious truth, visible to every single American, is that's the opposite of reality. In fact, if you criticize Israel in your country, your government will work to censor you. If there's a standoff between you and Bibi, you know whose side your government's going to take, Bibi's side. That is not sustainable. That is too humiliating. It's too clearly an inversion of the natural order. Your government exists for you, not for a foreign government. But that's not how we live in this country or in Israel. So that's what we learned.
Tucker tells the disturbing truth in very plain and understandable language. And let me say the disturbing truth right now. This is the other disturbing, this is the other side of that disturbing truth. We can now clearly see that the foreign interests have had a stranglehold on our government, our foreign policy, our country for a long time, for most of our lives, for some of us, all of our lives. And we also know how the foreign interests, and specifically those in Israel, have been the major benefactor, if not the number one benefactor of the American taxpayer for most of our lives. And now that the social understanding of this, now that the cultural understanding of this, now that the political understanding of this has shifted and changed into the negative for these foreign interests, we see they are taking the mask off. And what we see is a very evil, paranoid, schizophrenic, psychotic group of people. And if you think that their bloodlust stops in Palestine, if you think their bloodlust stops in the Gaza Strip, if you think their bloodlust stops in their seven-front war, whether it's Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, the Golan Heights, the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, if you think it stops there for their power and their agenda, I think, unfortunately, we might discover that, no, it extends far beyond that. And maybe it already has. So I wonder, as we see this paranoid schizophrenic crash out, as we see the bloodlust grow to new heights, because they're clinging to this. They're clinging to this. They're clinging to the American slave class that they've been a parasitic force on, and their ownership of our government, and they see it slipping. They see it's going the other direction. They see it's not far long until America decides we're done with this relationship. We're done with this one-way relationship. I am genuinely concerned about what they're going to do. I have to tell you, I am genuinely concerned. And I wonder if they haven't already made some things happen. Maybe even some things just last year. Maybe some big things. I wonder. It's a very serious concern. It's a very, very legitimate and serious concern. And why would Les Wexner's lawyer say something like this during the House oversight hearing? Did you see this? What is this about?
Question regularly done.
He says, I'll effing kill you if you answer another question.
Regularly done.
I'll effing kill you if you answer another question. And I don't think that was a jovial laugh there from Les Wexner. That didn't seem like a mutual laugh. That seemed like I just crapped my pants and all I can do is laugh right now because I'm so uncomfortable. That is attorney Michael Levy from Harvard Law School. Man. Oh, boy. All right. That's some heavy stuff. We've been all over the map with the ups and downs today. I need to depressurize here. So let's do this, guys. Let's do this. I've got some other stuff, just some fun stuff before we sign off. We'll obviously go into the super chats before we end the show. I'm actually, do I even open the phone lines? Because that could get crazy today. But maybe that's what we do. I said I would. We haven't done it in a long time. So maybe we do it. Maybe we do some phone calls today. Do we dare? All right. Let's do a couple minutes of phone calls. We don't need to take care of business till the end of the hour. So we'll do that at the end of the hour. We'll hit a little reset button here. Get some of the funny, more innocent stuff, maybe. It's too heavy. I got to depressurize after that. I got to depressurize, guys. We had it's too heavy on a Friday. We could go on and on with this stuff. I got too much of it anyway. So we'll do calls is what we'll do. So let me get the number up on the screen. Nope, that's not the number. Where is my number? I haven't taken calls in so long. I can't even find my number. No, I got to put the number on the screen, guys. Hold on. What in the hell is going on with this? This is going to bother me now. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm mad because it won't give me my number. Here we go. That's how long it's been. We got it now. And the phone line is already completely lit up. In fact, it's crashing the it's literally it's crashing the browser because the phone line lights up. I don't even give out the number and it already crashes. All right, there's your number. 747-255-60. 747-255-60. I wonder if we can get any new callers on the line because that's the thing that happens. The usual callers always get through first. So we'll see what happens. All right. Here we go. You are, remember, you guys are on the air. I just pick up, I ask you your name and where you're from, and you're on the air. First caller, what's your name, where you're from? That's pretty good. I like that. The panic. the Groyper, the Groyper Army. Have you ever seen the TV show? I think it's Recess, I believe. Have you ever seen the old cartoon Recess? I think it's from Recess. It's like, or maybe is it Hey Arnold? No, I think it's Recess. You don't mess with the kindergartners. The kindergartners are like the Neanderthal tribe on the playground, and you just leave them alone, and you don't want to mess with them. And if you do mess with them, they end up like dominating you and taking you over. So it sounds like that's like the Groypers of the politics. It's like, okay, they're the tribesmen. The face are painted. They're the warriors, but they're the kindergartners. But nobody, you don't want to cross them. Like you do not want to mess with them. They will come for you and they will win. So you don't mess with the Groypers. You leave the Groypers. They get their face, and you leave them, and you don't want to mess with them because they will come for you and they will dominate you. But you're panicking Pete though. So I don't know. You've proposed it. Yeah, you've proposed it. Um,
He's worried about the midterms. No one has the guts to walk in and say, Mr. President, you lost the midterm 6 months ago, and it's 100% your fault because there are people they call them noticers now, and you betrayed everybody, and you're not even trying to hide it anymore. And it's just like, you have really let us down, man. You've really let us down, and there's no excuse now. And he's just for all the rich people. He actually respects the people who were never Trumpers
I know.
more than he does. It's like he won them over. He respects that they called him. It's a weird. It's like he's a New York Democrat. And like you said, man, you knew damn well what I was when you took me in. I mean, he
I wonder,
basically
is
was
he the
talking
snake?
about
Yeah,
himself.
was he the snake that he talked about in that poem? It's starting to look that way.
I think he is. I never thought I'd ever say that, man, but he is. He's a New York liberal Democrat, and he let us down. When he in the 2015, he believed all those things. I think he still believes all the things that he said. But now that he doesn't need us, it's almost like I gave you everything the first 4 years. Now I get the rewards of whatever. It's blatant.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Bill and Hillary, missing out on the meme coins and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
20 years too late.
Well, forget about that. You don't even have to go back that far, because now Trump is actually saying he supports Bill and Hillary now, and he thinks they're being treated badly by the Republicans. He also came out in support of Prince Andrew now, or former Prince Andrew. So that's all weird.
Oh no.
But no, I say if the Biden administration was doing this, the entire MAGA movement would be up in arms. There'd be protest. If the Biden family was doing this, there'd be congressional investigations into the investments in data centers and drone companies and AI and meme coins. And MAGA would be all behind it, and Sean Hannity would break through walls to get to his show and call it all out and everything else. But the Trump family does it, and they don't say a damn word. They don't say a peep about it.
Yeah, and all the major networks paying Trump off. That's the price they want to pay for whatever. ABC, CBS. All of a sudden, they're paying him off now on these ridiculous things they should be fighting against. It's just like he doesn't even believe in free speech if someone hurts his feelings.
It's so weird, but it does feel like he's not running for election again, so he doesn't care. I think that's it. He's just looting the country. Him and his friends and family are just looting the country for everything they can and just saying peace. Hey, I'd love to be proven wrong. There's nothing more I would want than to be proven wrong on all of this, but I'm not here to play that game. I'm telling you, I call it as I see it. That's what I do. I do political play-by-play, and that's what's happening on the field right now. By the way, guys, apologize. I guess the first 30 seconds or so of that caller, we were not on. Again, I apologize. We haven't taken callers in like a month. And so I kind of forgot some of my settings here, guys. I run the show. It's me running the whole thing here. So that one's on me, but we got it all figured out now. All right, next caller. What's your name? Where you're from?
Hey, Owen, it's Willie, San Diego. How you doing, pal?
Hey, Willie. I'm feeling a little depressurized now. All right, we're depressurized. The cabin pressure is down. We're on the second half of the show. We're cruising into the weekend now.
You sound good. We're enjoying the show. Hey, I'm really excited about a couple of things. One is decentralized AI, and another is we can say what we want about Candace Owens, but I think the future of investigations is going to be open sourced, decentralized, and those kind of akin to what Candace Owens is doing. It'll be the key to solving crimes side by side against the official Fed slop and the narratives that nobody believes. Candace is spearheading a groundbreaking investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder by being a public conduit for tips that are submitted by us, the curious public. She's being helped by others on X and AI intelligence as well. And she's being criticized by paid influencers and government officials, kind of like Graham Allen and Dan Bongino, but has brought much to light as more anomalies are exposed every week. And it doesn't matter if she's chasing rabbits or making mistakes. She just moves on to thousands of other tips that are being submitted like by thousands of other citizens that no longer trust our system. Like Charlie said, we must go max.
Well, look, I think the Charlie Kirk assassination is, and this is why it's one of those things where I don't really feel the need, and it's not even about Candace necessarily. It's like, this one was so obvious that eventually everybody was going to land on a similar conclusion, okay? And I think we're getting close to it being a lot less uncomfortable to start talking about the conclusions as time goes on. And now you've got kind of this investigation even into Erica Kirk and her background and everything that's going on. Yikes is all I could really say to that right now. Yikes. And now I also think you've had at least 3 now TPUSA whistleblowers come forward about some behind-the-scenes stuff. Obviously, Candace has somebody from the inside feeding her information. I feel like this thing is only going one direction, and it's not looking good. I will say that. It's not looking good for the Tyler Robinson lone shooter narrative at all.
Well, with all the motives, especially Wolves and Finance. We haven't heard from him in a while, Baron Coleman. But I think
that
it's a big deal.
That name keeps getting brought up to me. What's up with that?
Well, Wolves and Finance was a guy that was looking into the. He's like a super CPA, and he's going through all the files, and he's finding out where the money's being sent by these donors to this bizarre strip mall in Arizona. And, just the fact, too, that Charlie was obviously onto something with the money stream that was coming in by ordering a Doge thing. And Erica ixnayed it as soon as she took over as CEO. So got nothing to hide, hide nothing.
It's like, yeah, the whole money thing is one deal, and I think also the foreign interest. I mean, let's just say it. Charlie was going a different direction than maybe even the entire intention of TPUSA was meant to be. And so all of these things are starting to come to the top of the conversation, and it was always inevitable, quite frankly. I mean, it was kind of really obvious to some in the beginning, but it's like how do you walk on those eggshells? How do you walk on that broken glass? Well, look at what's happened to Candace since she decided to sprint across it. You look at the attacks, you look at what happens with her. So it's official, guys. The U.S. has now advanced to the gold medal match against Canada. It will be at 7:10. The official puck drop is 7:10 a.m. Sunday morning. Man, if the boys can pull that off. Oh, boy, is that going to be fun. How fun will that be if they can pull that one off as the women did? And I will say, I do. I love our listening audience in Canada. We love our friends in Canada. We love you guys. But man, I'm going to tell you right now, the suffering that we will witness if we can pull that one off is going to be very enjoyable. I will say. And, if they beat us again, it's like, oh, okay. You guys are still the kings of hockey. Nothing we can do. But that's going to be a fun one. That is going to be. So I'm putting my hat on. You can get this hat at owenschroyer.store. Putting my hat on because they just won the game. So there you go. We're doubling up. All right. Next caller. What's your name? Where you from?
Owl Killer calling from Virginia.
All right, Owl Killer. Go ahead.
Well, Owen, I'm going to have to apologize to you because I've been giving you crap for being negative for the last couple of months. Not that I disagree with not that I was disagreeing with your take. I've just come to a couple of things that, I think both of us and anybody that's informed already knows. Did you happen to catch the Ron Paul interview with Tucker Carlson?
I did. I didn't. It was one of those deals where I put it on and I was kind of, listening in and out while I'm shuffling around the house. That's what I did today with the Huckabee interview too. But Tucker does great interviews, those long form interviews. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So we're full circle. At the end of the day, it's the banking system, and and look, I love Ron Paul, but we're too evil to subscribe to some of the libertarian stuff. As you get older, you're like, unfortunately, we're a degenerate culture. However, with these emails, and I'm sure you did watch that Bannon interview with Epstein, correct?
Well, it's like, aren't there like 20 hours of it? I can't say. I don't think I can say I watched the whole thing because aren't there like 10 of them? There's like 20 hours of it.
Well, so far what's been released is 2 hours. There's also a 3-hour conversation with Ehud Barak and Epstein, and that is fascinating.
Have you been seeing? And then there's all these different voicemails and other stuff that's come out too. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, but like certain things like Epstein was on the Trilateral Commission, handpicked by David Rockefeller. That tells you, and then when the guy starts getting into explaining fractional reserve banking to Steve Bannon, that's what it is. And you saw it with the Les Wexner interview. He's talking about how this guy, and you see it in the emails that he's representing the Rothschild family.
Yep.
That's really what the realization I've come to is. This is their system. They've created it.
Yep.
And nobody has the guts to say, hey, nothing is real. And we need a real financial system that the fractional reserve banking, this is how they have taken over society.
That's right.
So it is just what it is.
Yep.
But if you listen to the Ehud Barak stuff, with Epstein, he's telling Ehud Barak how to get in touch with Palantir, all about Peter Thiel. I mean, and it goes on for hours, but I'm even in there. He's saying that, hey, there's probably going to be some event with Iran, because all the wrong. It's just I see a demographic issue with Israel. This is Epstein telling Ehud Barak this, and the only people having kids are the Orthodox, meaning the Orthodox Jews and the Arabs. And he's explaining to him that there's going to be some type of event with Iran. But this guy was not just a nobody that people were going to get blackmailed. This guy was shot calling, and I can't. I mean, it literally goes back to everything we already knew. It's the banking system, and it's the family. It's the Rockefeller family. It's the Rothschild family, and I just don't think that anybody has I think we made a catastrophic error with Trump in the sense that I agree with the stuff that he says. Not what he does. I agree with what he ran on. However, we thought one man could do it. And unless he rules like an Abraham Lincoln or an Andrew Jackson, where he just says, I don't give a damn what you say, and the public is on his side, there's not he needs Congress. And we didn't run Congress with him. And that's why they hated the Tea Party, because it was a movement, even though a lot of them were misled on certain issues. It was that's the only way to get control of the country is you needed to run people ideologically aligned that were going to pass stuff in Congress.
Well, I
'Cause
don't think
the
I think
midterms are
the
meaningless.
only thing I disagree with is you say we thought one man could do it, and you know, maybe one can or can't, but I don't think that's the issue. The issue here is we thought Trump wanted to do it or was going to
Right.
do it. It now appears like he doesn't want to do it and was never going to do it. That's the big bait and switch that it seems like we're into now. But absolutely, look, and that's why I'm saying it looks like Epstein, when you dig in deeper to these emails and you try to put the pieces together for this larger puzzle, it looks like Epstein was just the middleman. And like, let's look at the Israel issue, for example. This is an issue I've been covering a lot. Foreign policy, Israel influence, all of this stuff. Even the Israel issue is below it. Like, even the Israel issue is below, to a certain degree, the Rothschild angle. And yes, you can talk about, well, the Rothschilds, invented it, run it, they own whatever. But like, even to that degree, like even people kind of look at the Israel angle as like the all-powerful angle. But no, it's like we kind of see with the Epstein stuff, even that's below it. Like, even the Israel angle, it's like the Israel angle that's just geopolitics, and that's just the Zionists that just use the money that's fake to buy and use Epstein to blackmail our Congress so they can use the force and the might of the American people to get their own interest. But it's like, even that is beneath this shadow government. Even that is beneath this Illuminati, secret society, whatever.
It is.
That
It is
even
exactly
even
that.
that. And so that's what you kind of see in these emails. It's like, yeah, even with the Israel stuff and the Mossad stuff, and yes, they have more influence now than the average American, but even the Rothschilds, there's even something above that.
Well, even I don't know how much more is above the Rothschilds, because they're the system that this is their system that they created, and it goes back to the creature of Jekyll Island. Like, we know that the Federal Reserve was created by foreign. Pretty much, it's pretty much.
Well, what about the Titanic? Have you looked into the Titanic conspiracy theories? That's probably another one.
J.P. Morgan swap. Yeah, of course.
That's probably another one. That's probably another one. So that's what it is, Owl Killer. Thanks for the call. I mean, that's it, guys. Our money is fake. It's literally fake. And when they did that, they created a system to make American people slaves. So we're slaves to the dollar that has no actual value, and the government can just print money out of a magic hat. No pun intended. The government can print money out of a magic hat and give it to another magic hat whenever they want. And then you have to work, and 1/3 of the money you make is just slave labor. 1/3 of your labor is just slave labor. And there's nothing you can do because we're trapped in this fake fiat currency system. And that's where we're at. So we're starting to like wake up to it and shake out of it. And there's no putting it back now. There's no turning it off now. And that's why I say it's like the big concern is, well, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What is going to be the next Titanic? What is going to be the next September 11th? What are they going to do to try to turn this off? What are they going to do to try to put us back under their boot? You know they're going to do something. They're not going to let their slaves just go free. That's not going to happen. And then what do we think? Did they cut a deal with Trump and his family? Did they cut a deal with Bongino? What happened to these guys? I thought these guys were on our team. Now they look like different people. Now they look like they've seen a ghost. Now they look like they're hostages. Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from?
It's Water Snob Sam from Montana.
What's up, Sam?
Loving my water, drinking it right now, actually. But I was watching you. You were talking, and I see the screens in the background there. There was a total fight going on while you were talking to another caller or something. I'm like, hey, Owen, look, there's a big old fight going down.
Those Kachuk brothers love to mix it up.
And then when they finally scored, I saw you wanted to stop that caller. He's like, wait a minute, they just scored. We're winning. But anyway, reason I was calling is I know you follow Ian Carroll a little bit, maybe. I don't know. But he had some guy on, and they were doing some deep diving into these miniature explosives. I don't know if you heard about this whole angle, but I know the microphone thing was kicked to the curb a long time ago for some reason, but now it's starting to become relevant again because the company that made these not microscopic, but small charges, that building where they made all these explosives blew up like a week after the Charlie Kirk thing, and no one put two and two together just quite yet. But they were going through all the stuff.
I saw that, and I thought it fell apart. I thought I saw that, and then there was a missing link, and it fell apart from my research. So I guess I can reinvestigate that. But when I started going into it, there was a blatant missing link, and I couldn't bring it to air.
Yeah, I try not to go down. I was on the what's her name, Candace Owens trip for a little bit, and then when the Huachuca thing came in, that's when I just lost interest and all that. So I don't really follow it anymore. But
well, that was in the Epstein files. Now that Ford is in the Epstein files.
Yeah, no, lots of stuff like that. But good show today. I know it's rough on you. It was rough on me just watching you today. You know, feel for you, brother, and
that's why it's a TGIF type of a day today. That's why we're glad it's Friday. So that's why we're rooting for Team USA in the Olympics, man. I gotta get something here. Oh man, that's good. That's nice. Next caller, what's your name? Where you're from?
Hey, Owen, it's Tay from Florida.
All right, Tay, go ahead. Have you called before?
I've called before, yes.
Okay.
But I'm usually on the super chat.
All right. I feel like it's been a minute since you've called. All right, so we got you.
Yeah. Have you heard that the Byron Donalds folks actually tried to arrest James Fishback over at GCU in Fort Myers?
I did. I saw that, and I'm actually in touch. Well, obviously, James has been on the show, and I don't want to, I'm in Texas, right? And so it's like, I don't really like getting involved in other states' politics, but we got reached out from South Carolina, obviously, to try to get Lindsey Graham out of there with Mark Lynch. So Mark Lynch's campaign reached out. They said, we'd love to do an event with you. I said, absolutely. And the Fishback team has now reached out. So we may do an event with them. So it's not something that I try to do. It's not like I go and I'm like, hey, let me inject myself. But if they reach out to me and say, hey, we'd love to have you do an event, then, I think that that's fair game. So we may be lining something up with the Fishback campaign.
Yeah, the St. Pete rally, yeah, it was packed. It's about like 200 people there. So
well, and that's what I said on X. That's what I said on X that got the Fishback campaign's attention. I said Fishback campaigns are the new Trump campaigns.
Yeah, and Elon Musk actually dinged my X account. I can't access my X account right now. So
you know what? I'll tell you, I'm not surprised. You guys, no. You guys push the limit. And hey, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that we don't have free speech in this country. And even on some of the most free speech platforms, you got to be careful. But it's like, you got to play the game. You got to play the game. Eventually, the ref's going to catch you with an elbow, and you're going to get in the penalty box.
Well, at least I'm going to send you a super chat.
Yeah, and then you guys send me the super chats. It's like you're trying to get me dinged. So I got to be careful. You're going to be up to down there in Florida. You're hitting the Fishback campaigns. So just do that. Just do that. And we're going to continue to monitor the situation here and try not to get dinged. You know the game. You know the rules. You know the lanes. You know the game. Try not to get dinged. That's how it is. All right. All right, guys. I guess we'll take one more. Here before we go into the last hour. Strong calls, I'd say. All right, last caller of the hour. What's your name? Where you from?
Hey, I'm Thomas. I'm from Georgia.
All right, Thomas, go ahead.
I'm just wanted to say I'm a fan of the show. The first time I heard of you was when Jake Shields was on, when you were back at InfoWars. So just appreciate what you do.
All right. What do you think about the new AIPAC-backed, Trump-backed Marjorie Taylor Greene replacement?
I mean, I'm not surprised by it. There's actually like 20 something people running for that seat. But
well, AIPAC picked its person and Trump backed it. So thanks for the call. Good to hear from you. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from? We'll squeeze one more in.
Owen.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Hey, how's it going? It's Player Hater 1, Tucson, Arizona. You got those ankle braces, bud?
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm not going to need them, brother. You're going to be on skates out there. You're going to be like the Slovakians.
Oh yeah, dude. I used to. Yeah, I'm all messed up. I got in an accident. Some chick hit me. So yeah. But besides that.
Oh boy. You want to know something? Yeah. Actually, you want to know a funny one? I'm glad that you brought this up. Yeah. I was gonna put this joke out on X actually maybe this weekend. So I'll just do it now. I'm driving yesterday, and we got these automatic cars all over the roads here in Austin. Austin is like, we're one of the leading cities, I guess, with these automatic cars, and Wayfair, these auto driving Wayfair cars are everywhere. So I'm driving on the highway here, and you don't normally see them on the highway. So I'm driving on the highway. I see one of these automatic Wayfair cars, and I'm in the fast lane. It's to the right of me, and I see it in front of me. I'm like, oh my gosh, we got a Wayfair auto car on the highway here. And, I'm getting a little nervous. But I'm curious. So I pull up next to the Wayfair car to see what the situation is. And I see that there's actually a woman sitting in the driver's seat. And I went into all-out panic. I mean, it was total panic. When I saw the woman was driving the car, I was like, oh, my God. And I just got as far away from that vehicle as possible to avoid any danger.
Imagine she was Asian and a woman. Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Oh, geez.
And I'll keep it quick for you because, I want to hear what else you got. But it's good to get through to you. I got through to you like once when you were back on InfoWars, and we literally talked about the Steen files, how I was pissed off about it. That was a while ago. But it's good to see you on your own show doing good, man. Like, I'm going to support any way I can. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep the truth, man. I've been listening to you since the real War Room. Like 20, yeah. You and Roger Stone.
Oh, Roger. Every once in a while, Roger and I catch up outside of the airwaves. It's always a good conversation. Thanks for the call, man. Always good to have you in the audience. All right, we take our final break. Of the show. We'll come back. Hey, good calls. Maybe we'll go back to the calls. We got the super chats. I got a couple of other light news elements as well. We'll do it all. Final break of the show.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right, everybody knows what time it is. Right? You should know by now. What time is it, guys? It's blackout coffee time. That's right. Blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. You know what time it is. And on days like today, I'm drinking blackout coffee. When I do a 2-show day, it's minimum 1 cup of blackout coffee. Minimum 1. Sometimes you might need to do the 2 or 3, depending on how you're feeling. Sometimes you might be in a rush, and you might need that instant coffee, that premium instant coffee. Nobody does it better than blackoutcoffee.com, the #1 instant coffee. That's why they call it premium instant coffee, because it is #1. Of course, they've got your bags. Either whole bean or ground, however you like it. I've got my entire coffee pantry. I open that pantry up, and you get hit with that nice coffee, fresh coffee smell. Nothing like it. They've also got the single-serve pods. That's how some of you like to consume your coffee. They got over 30 flavors right now. Over 30 flavors. Now, some of them sell out. So if there's one you got your eye on, you want to check out, get it before it sells out. Here's a couple of examples right there. They just added a couple more, too. They just added a couple of flavors. So always pay attention there at the single-serve pod section if you're into that. They got those options for you too. It's all at blackoutcoffee.com. If you've never tried it before, if you've never tried Blackout Coffee before, you can get 20% off your first order. That's right, 20% off your first order with coupon code Owen at checkout. One more time for the newcomers, 20% off at blackoutcoffee.com/Owen with coupon code Owen at checkout.
Back to the show with your favorite talk show host, Tits McGee.
Man, who had this one on their bingo card? What was the I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene. They might have done a Thomas Massey one too, where it's that old stone toss. It's that old stone toss comics where it's like it used to be us in a tug of war against the radical left, us in a tug of war against the deep state. And now it's us in a tug of war and it's against Trump and MAGA hats. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I can't even. What is going on? It's like, hey, we're trying to save the country. Grab the rope. You grab the rope, and then you look at the other side, and it's people wearing MAGA hats and Trump. Like, what is this clown world, man? What are we doing? Oh, my goodness. Well, we're having fun on a Friday. How about that? Let's take a couple other phone calls, shall we? It's a good momentum on the phone lines today. Let's take a couple more. We got a little time. We'll take a couple more before we hit the final pieces, the final elements of the show, and then get to your super chats. Those have got to be wild today. I can only imagine. All right, next caller. What's your name? Where you're from?
This is Jack.
All right, Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just been a fan of you for a long time since your InfoWars days. I was just wondering. I know you've been doing the show the last couple hours. I just watched the Tucker Carlson and Huckabee interview, and I think the most alarming part of it. Not saying that there wasn't many, but the fact that Tucker brought up that 80% of the American population does not want this, and how does that fare out to Israel's obvious influence over the Trump administration to escalate this thing. And I was just wondering if you saw any of it and what your thoughts are.
Well, and wasn't that the part that led into the theological, biblical stance where Huckabee said Israel has a right to the entire Middle East? Isn't that what led to that?
I think that was the majority of the conversation, which was quite brilliant because he was trying to draw a distinction. Is it a biological bloodline motive for Israel to claim that land as their own, or is it more religious based? And I think Huckabee, I don't think he clearly, as was alluded in the intro to the whole conversation, I don't think he defended it. I think he stumbled over his words.
Well,
clearly,
here's the problem. Here's the problem.
spectator.
Here's the problem. And whether it's Huckabee or anyone else, it doesn't matter. They all have the same problem because at the end of the day, again, whether it's Tucker Carlson or me, whether it's Huckabee or Mark Levin or anybody, at the end of the day, they are forced into a position of defending foreign interests and defending a foreign country's interest over our own. There's no way around it. It's always eventually where it's going to end up. There is simply no way around it. And so they kind of have to handle that and manage that in different ways. Huckabee goes with the theological biblical angle. Sometimes they go with but it benefits America because of this military industrial complex. And, they spy for us or they just go full mask off, like my most recent interview, and they just say, dead people are good. We like dead people. And then they leave the conversation. So that's the issue that they have. But yeah, Huckabee kind of goes it down it like that. So how are you going to, this is the problem. And it's like, Senator Lindsey Graham, we played the clip. He says, at least most Republicans agree with the policy. So they don't do any vote. There's not a vote. And by the way, Ro Khanna and again, Thomas Massey, others will join, are trying to get a bill in front of Congress that Trump has to get a vote from Congress to do these strikes. He's going to do it anyway, but it'll just set him up for impeachment if he does it. And so that's what's happening. But the problem they have is that they're still living in the la-la land of Fox News boomerism, and they don't understand that really 40 and under, you're looking at a vast majority of Americans that are sick of whatever goes on in the Middle East. If you want to get directional about it and say Israel, the numbers aren't in their favor there either. But they've been stuck in this loop where it's just, it's Republican, it's right-wing, it's conservative to support Israel, it's left-wing, it's liberal not to. That's not the deal anymore. That's not the deal anymore. Most Americans are sick of the foreign policy in the Middle East. This is why Obama won. This is why Trump won. And this is why the next president that stands against our foreign policy in the Middle East will win again. So it's really just an unwinnable conversation or debate, rather, to take the side of a foreign country and foreign interest over America's. But ultimately, that's where they will end up. There is no other way around it.
And one last question. I know you have other callers and other information that you like to get to. Do you think that there's any chance that Iran will stand down with the U.S. in its current position?
So Trump came out and said he's going to make his decision in 10 to 15 days. If we go off of the history, that usually means you have 7 days. I don't know. It looks like Iran is remaining strong. It looks like Iran is not going to fold under the pressure. And it looks like they may even be getting some kind of outside of the line support from Europe, who's telling Trump, hey, you're not using our bases for strikes. And it looks like China and Russia have kind of signaled from afar, hey, we're monitoring this situation too. So there's a lot of moving parts. And again, you look at the Huckabee thing, and this is what we're all asking ourselves. And it went from the big to the small. I mean, from the number one, from Trump to the middleman like Huckabee, all the way down to these new MAGA influencers that are all in for Israel and have just totally abandoned MAGA, totally abandoned America first, and they're just all pro-Israel all the time now. And we're all asking ourselves the same thing. Are all of you bought and paid for? Are all of you blackmailed? Are literally all of you foreign agents? That's what this is like now.
The fact that Tucker Carlson's producer was in fact interrogated post-interview speaks volumes. And the fact that we have a so-called ambassador of the U.S. in Israel, despite his personal feelings, that would not somehow check on this situation. It speaks for itself.
That was my most important part of the conversation, or the piece that Tucker put out. I was like almost 3 hours today. Thank you for the call. That to me was the most important part. It's always a good conversation, and hey, hat tip to Huckabee. He went in and he had the conversation, and I don't think he held back from his perspective. And Tucker Carlson, same thing. But it's just like, it's all kind of a merry-go-round at this point. It's all a merry-go-round. There's really no middle ground politically anymore. Everybody kind of knows how they feel about it. But to me, that was the most important thing, was Tucker coming out and explaining what really happened with the detaining story. And then he addressed, obviously, their fake news, their lies. And then he kind of encapsulates that in his closing of his opening. And he says, why is it like this? Why is it that our ambassador is not our ambassador? Same thing. Why is it that our president is not our president? Like our media, all of it. It's like, these are supposed to be Americans. These are supposed to be for American interests. These are supposed to be for us, the American people. It's supposed to be our government, our media, our country. And then when you get to the bottom line, they put Israel first. And so it's like, this is undeniably happening. Everybody can see it. And then it's like, hey, wow, this is happening. And then you turn around to what's supposed to be the independent media, or the independent right-wing media, and they're all telling you, no, this is good. It is for Israel. You need to go back to sleep. That's America first, is Israel first. And and that's what I'm saying. Like, we're all still kind of recalibrating right now, because it's so crazy. We're all recalibrating. We're all kind of dizzy from it. It's like, oh my gosh, every time you turn around, here's another foreign agent. Every time you turn around, here's another blackmailed person. Every time you turn around, here's another cuck. Every time you turn around, here's another Israel firster. It's like, what the hell? Whoa, where are my friends? Where are my allies? Where? So it's like, we're all kind of recalibrating in this madness right now. And in the meantime, as this awareness is happening, and the Israel lobby is losing the influence, losing the support, they're taking their mask off. They're crashing out. It's just a crazy recipe. It's a crazy recipe. And that's why, oh, look, the aliens or we're going to bomb Iran, because this is a crazy concoction right now. And they need something to just throw in there and just blow it all up. And maybe literally, maybe literally. All right. Let's take one more call. I know, guys, I know it's hard to get through on the line. I see you guys in the chats. I know it's really hard to get through on the phone lines. That's why we do the super chats, because we can get every single one of those. One more call for the show here. Last caller, what's your name, where you're from?
Hey, Owen, Don from Orange County.
All right, Don, go ahead.
Got a question for you, man. I know you've been saying it over and over again, that you cover the news and you want to cover the politics and all that stuff. But I got a question for you, man. I could tell you're waking up a little bit to a lot of, because in the previous years, the things that I've said to you kind of seem conspiratorial theory and all that kind of far-fetched, but it's not. It's all starting to come out now, and it's all starting to take shape. But my question to you is, when at some point you have to cross over, dude. You have to cover not other things. You have to cover the real stuff, like beyond the politics. I mean, what our world really is and what they're really doing. These people, one thing this is all teaching us, it ain't right and left anymore. And it's not our government. It's the people that control this world, and they're generational, probably, 2,000, 3,000 years, who even knows? But it's, how do we get to them? And what do we do? And what do we prep for? Because you were saying earlier, you can feel it coming. Something's going to happen. And I've been telling you this for quite a while now. The reset. When the population gets too smart that you can't control them and they no longer believe the narratives and the lies, you erase them. And that's what history shows us. All these ancient civilizations that were exterminated because you can't control somebody that's intellectually literate and financially literate. So I'll let you go with that.
Well, I'm just a little confused at what aspect of that I'm not covering. I mean, I think that I cover that every day, so I'm just a little confused as to what exactly you're saying I'm not covering. I guess I can try to humor the question though, and I would say, I mean, I don't even know if it's worth humoring, but from a strategic perspective, you have to understand you're like 1% of the 1%. So it's like there's 1% of the people that want to follow politics like this. There's like 1% of the people that want to be embedded and ingrained and understand the day-to-day politics and the politics news and everything. And that's my audience. That's what our show does. And then there's like 1% of that 1% that wants to talk about, I guess the direction that you're talking about. So it's like, and again, I don't know what the specifics are. You didn't say any specifics. But I mean, we talk about, I've been talking about it a lot. So again, I'm still kind of a little confused at what you're getting at. But it's like, what do you want me to do? A 3-hour show and just say, hey, there's a secret civilization. They've been in control of the planet for 10,000 years. They might be like, I mean, so I just don't know. I don't really know what to say to that, because I feel like I do cover that a lot, Don. I feel like I talk about it as much as anybody. But it's like, if people don't understand what's happening day to day, and they don't even know the basic news, and they don't even know the daily developments and current events, it's kind of hard to win anybody over, to get anybody's attention. So I just don't know. It's like, if you want that stuff, there's plenty of it out there. But I don't know. I'm humoring your question here. All right, let's see here. I got some other elements. Do you guys you probably don't even want to see this stuff now. I've got some other Goy Olympics, like that little, it's a crazy one. I can't help it. I got to do this one because it's a local thing. I got to do this one because it's another St. Louis win. I got to do it. You know it. I got to cook for St. Louis here. So you probably saw this girl. Now, here's the crazy thing. This is the girl that won the Olympic gold medal. And I don't want to, I don't want to bash. I don't want to bash the Olympic athletes. They're like weird and commie and engage in the propaganda. So I'm not going to do that. There's plenty of that out there. I'm not going to do it. And they always pop up now, these leftists at the Olympics. So I'm not going to bash them. This is a crazy story though with this girl. What's it?
Would be a different
Alyssa Liu. So her and Eileen Gu, Alyssa Liu, Eileen Gu. This is like some weird, like, what is going on here? One of them, they both come from a single Chinese parent. And then one of them decides to go and compete for China. The other decides to go and compete for America. And so there's all these little weird idiosyncrasies, like mirrors between these two. Anyway, so she wins the gold medal. And people are wondering about her hair color. Now, this is a St. Louisan, another St. Louisan champion here. So, I got to do the St. Louisan stuff. I got to give a shout out to my fellow St. Louis making moves out there. So this is what, apparently her hair, if you saw her hair, here she is talking about why she has this hair.
Would it be a different hair thing for the Olympics or the same?
No, it'll be the same. So I do this every year. I add a stripe. So it's going to be like this for a year. And then next year, wintertime, like end of December, I do another ring.
So how long has this been?
3 years. So this one I did in 2023, end of 2023. Then did another one 2024. 2025.
In St. Louis that happened?
Well, it started back at home this December, like 31st or something.
So guys, I've decided now I'm going to do the same thing with my hair. All right. So now I'm going to do the blonde, whatever it is. I'm going to do the Alyssa Liu here, and I'm going to do the blonde raccoon stripe type of a hair. It's going to be a new St. Louis thing now, a new Olympic champion thing now. I'm buying in. I'm into the bandwagon. What do you think, guy? Oh, and the beard. I'd have to really grow. I'd have to really grow the beard out for that. I don't know if I ever want to go back to the long beard. If I'm being honest, guys, I don't know if I want to do the long beard ever again. I think this is about as long as I want to get it. Maybe until I'm like really old and I'm like truly a gray beard. So I don't know. But had to give a shout out to the St. Louis. And all right, you know what? I think I kind of lied. I think I kind of lied here. Maybe we will do a little bashing, actually. So this is the other U.S. champion figure skater who's like doing all the LGBTQ propaganda. She's like the opposite of cute. It's like you have all these cute, fluffy ice skaters, and then you have this girl who's all about how gay she is, and you know, you know what I'm saying. So this is a drinking game. Lib buzzword bingo.
It's been a hard time for the community overall under this administration. It isn't the first time that we've had to come together as a community and try and fight for our human rights. And now, especially, it's not just affecting the queer community, but many other communities. And I think that we are able to support each other in a way that we didn't have to before, and because of that, it's made us a lot stronger. I hope I can use my platform and my voice throughout these games to try and encourage people to stay strong in these hard times. I know that a lot of people will say, you're just an athlete, like stick to your job, shut up about politics, but politics affect us all. It is something that I will not just be quiet about because it is something that affects us in our everyday lives. So, of course, there are things that I disagree with, but as a community, we are strong and we support each other, and brighter days are ahead of us.
Yes, we did it. Bingo, tic-tac-toe, connect four, all of them. So, you know, here's where I'm kind of at with the whole left thing. Obviously, it's like I've expressed how the left-right paradigm has never been faker, how the left-right paradigm has never been more useless. And that's not to say that there isn't like some legitimacy there. I mean, right, there's policy differences, there's cultural differences. Like there is a left and a right, essentially. But for the most part, it's just a psyop. It's totally worthless. It's never been more worthless. It's never been a bigger psyop. So I don't really do the left-right thing. I bash it all the time. But, you know, here's where I'm kind of at with, like, the left is, and this is really natural and instinctual for me, it's like I'm always going to be anti-establishment, and I'm always going to speak truth to power. And the left has no power. They have no power. They have virtually no influence anymore. So they're just, like, flopping around. It's irrelevant stuff. It's the right wing that's now corrupt. It's the right wing that's in power. It's the right wing doing propaganda. So it's like, that's the establishment now. That's the people in power. That's the corruption. So the left-wing stuff, like, I don't really care about it right now. It's mostly worthless. So it's more of kind of like a fun thing now. It's more of like we kind of point and laugh every once in a while. And we cover it as far as, you know, the political news and the current events is concerned. But that was kind of a nice little throwback to bashing the left. You know, that was kind of a nice little throwback to bashing the libs. I mean, it's so predictable, you know? I kind of want to do that, though. I don't know. I haven't. How many people out there are 2026 totally sober, not a drink, nothing? I don't know. Drinking like doesn't even appeal to me. And I want to do this. I'm gonna do some in real life. I'm gonna do some in real life content soon, and I'm wondering like what to do because it's like, you know, I don't really. People like to go out and drink, and I always want to bring somebody out with me. They're probably going to go out and drink. I guess I'll just drink like mineral water or something. Maybe they'll trick me. Maybe they'll trick me into drinking poison. And I'm also, you know what I think I'm also going to do? For all the liars and gaslighters, I think I will take a drug test for you guys. Just to shut you up. I've already offered my bank accounts to you guys. You guys come check my bank accounts. And here's what it is. It's not even like, it's kind of a fun gotcha thing. It is kind of a fun gotcha thing in a fun way. But it's more of like a, listen, I don't really care if you disagree with like whatever my politics, but you need to understand like these things that you're just totally wrong about. And sometimes people need to get a little humbled. Sometimes people need to get a little humiliation. It's like, okay, here you go. Oh, Schroyer, he drugs, all this stuff. Okay, here you go. No drugs. It's like, oh, Schroyer takes foreign money. Here's my bank accounts. No foreign money. So it's like, hey, you want to disagree with me? Fine, but you need to know you're humiliating yourself and you're completely wrong about this. So maybe you need to readjust and reevaluate the things you think and believe, you know? So anyway, let's see what else. Oh, who called this one? See, I swear, if only the Trump administration would actually listen to me, you know? They could actually do something good. What did I tell you? I told you the right move for Pokemon was to do what? Was to bring back the original games to the Switch 2. Remember, I was bitching about how there's no good Switch 2 games? And they keep making, like, new games, and they all suck. It's all redundant. They're doing it, guys. They're actually doing it. Next Friday, they're bringing the OG Gen 1 remakes, Fire Red, Fire Green. They're bringing back the Gen 1 remakes to Switch 2. I might actually pick it back up. I might actually pick the Switch 2 back up. I might. So whoever over there, somebody over there at Pokemon TCG, or who's ever making these decisions, Nintendo, somebody tuned into the show and they said, that Schroyer is a genius. They said, that Owen Report guy, that guy is the smartest guy in the room. We should take his advice. And they did. And they're bringing it back. Can you believe that, guys? And that's why they call me the Babe Ruth of political media. What else do we have here? Let me squeeze in a couple. We got a couple leftovers, actually. You want to get a leftover or two? Want a leftover or two on a Friday? Here's a fun one. All right, we'll do one leftover here. We'll do one leftover on a Friday. This Shaq story is hilarious. Don't you ever call Shaq a gorilla, you racist.
Every zoo that I went to in the world, all the gorillas look at me and they go crazy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so I'll go to them and like I'll mess with them and like they all come to the glass and they all do this. Every zoo in the world, like, they just go crazy. They just go to the glass and go. So every city, every zoo, and they had this one albino gorilla in Philly.
So we're in Philadelphia, 2001, playing the finals against Philly. And on one of the days in between the games, we get to take a private tour at the Philadelphia Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
It's Shaq, myself, Jerome, Uncle Jerome.
Yeah.
So we go to the gorilla enclosure.
Shit.
So the dude that's giving us the tour, he says, when we go by the gorillas, do not look the gorillas straight in the eye. They're going to take it as a threat and it's going to make them go crazy. So they have an albino silverback.
What?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The one is rare. They got an albino silverback. So we go and it's just a glass in between us. And so we're walking by. So the whole time I'm thinking, I ain't looking him in the eye because the man just told us, don't look him in the eye, right? So Shaq walks by and he's looking straight like this. And then he just turns like this and he looks right in the gorilla's eye. And that big ass albino gorilla ran up to the glass and started banging on the glass real hard.
He almost broke the damn glass and got out. His name was Joey. And when he stood up, he was like 9'9".
And it scared the first time I ever seen Shaq scared, right?
I'm tough and all, but I'm not gonna fight no gorilla.
And I immediately looked at Shaq and he said, damn, he wasn't lying. He going crazy. I said, yeah, he looking at you going, how the hell he get out there?
you go. Have a laugh. Have a laugh on a Friday. That's a good one, isn't it? That's good stuff. That's how we used to be before political correctness took over. We all had a good laugh. We didn't really care about political incorrectness. We leaned in. All right. All right, let's go to the super chats, guys. Let's go to the super chats. What do you guys got for us in here today? Frankie Rios, end dual citizenship now. That's damn right. And I believe, I'm sure people have said it before me, but in recent years, I made a big fuss about that, and then they started talking about it in Congress. So we're just gonna take credit for that. We don't even care. We're taking credit for that. End dual citizenship. You're right. Owen Schroyer's wifey, happy Friday, sweetheart. Yeah, well, when the men's Olympic team goes to the gold medal match, we'll call it a Friday. If you want to keep it light, don't watch the Tucker interview. Could just play the whole thing. Cornelius Westernmost, since the files have impacted every section of society, do you foresee a throwback culture emerging in the beauty realm where women choose to opt out of Botox, Brazilians, Victoria's Secret, and the like? I don't know. I don't know if I'm seeing much of a change there. There was this viral video of this woman who, she's not the most natural beauty. You may have seen it. And she went and had a bunch of surgery. And basically it took like 10 years off of her life. And she's a completely different person, which is a whole nother thing. It's like, part of me is it's all about, this new looks maxing culture. It's like, I'm all for it. I've been a max maxer. I've been saying max maxing for years. So you can include looks in that realm, but I feel like, natural is always the best way to go. It's always the best way to go. And in a way, it's kind of false advertising. You meet a woman who's had that much surgery and you think you're getting one thing, but it's like, it's not real. It's false advertising to a certain degree. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see that really. But it does seem like, because these things kind of have a yin and a yang effect. It seems like that's more into like the men's culture now. It's like that's now getting mainstreamed into men's culture. And I don't know. I'm not this rise of Clav. Now people are conspiracy theorizing that it's all a plant, even that it's all a Peter Thiel plant. So, hey, probably a fair conspiracy theory to have. But it seems like it's almost taking over the men's side more than anything right now. And so maybe that yin and yang effect will result in the women not being into it so much. I don't know. I'm always about all natural, though. I prefer all natural. I prefer all natural in women. I prefer all natural in myself. And if I'm being honest to the women listening today, I would say 95% of men probably prefer all natural. There might be some things that maybe, when you talk about certain assets, maybe they might be more into the fake ones. But for the most part, most guys prefer all natural. And most guys prefer no makeup, honestly. Most guys prefer no or little to no makeup. The only time a guy really wants you in makeup is if you're like going out or going to an event and, get dolled up so he can show you off and everybody looks good. But for the most part, men don't like the caked on makeup. They don't like the lips. We don't want to deal with it. Honestly, we don't want to deal with it. It's like, get that away from me. Get that off of me. Wipe that mask off. Get to news, dirty American. We did, Dust Vault. We eventually got there. Woods Trash. It's Friday. React to AC/DC live at River Plate. Oh, that's one of the all-time great concerts, isn't it? That's one of the all-time great concerts, AC/DC at River Plate. Those guys are still touring, or whatever's left of them. Good Lord. Don't worry, Levin's coming to set us sick bastards straight in the podcast sphere. Yeah, that's going to go the way of never being relevant. Player Hater 1, we need Larry Wheels to slap Levin. What a disgusting trash bag Mark Levin is. Expose 305. Soros has destroyed this country with all his funding. AG, PAM, and FBI, MIA as usual. Yeah, the whole thing is a farce now. Well, Kash Patel's heading to the gold medal match for the hockey game, so that'll be fun for him. PBD did a podcast with Fatty Fine. Well, I'm not surprised. You know what's actually funny? It was probably the best interview that Randy Fine did. I'm not talking about the PBD one. I didn't see it. And he came off as the same bloated big mouth that he is, but he did that interview with Piers Morgan when they were talking about the dog thing. And, I just appreciate honesty. So it's like, if you're going to be honest about who you are and what you stand for, it's like, I can disagree with it, but at least you're being honest. So at least he was being honest about that. I mean, the guy was honest. His Piers Morgan thing was the only appearance I've ever seen Fatty Fine, Randy Fine, the only appearance where I've ever seen him and not been like, F this guy entirely. It was the only one. It was the only one. I wonder how he did on PBD. But, PBD, he's got his little handler, too. He's got his little guy in there, always keeping, the pro-Israel stuff, blaming everything on anti-Semitism in there. So, he's going to be in there chirping around. Guy's so obnoxious. The Austrian painter looks more right by the day. Glyphosate. Yeah, get your glyphosate, Maha. It's good now. What's the weekend movie? Somebody did The Mask. I know they attribute it to the original artist. How about The Mask? How about if you haven't seen The Mask or Truman Show? So we'll throw two perfect Jim Carrey movies, 2 movies, 5 out of 5. The Mask, a funny drama comedy. So The Mask, if you haven't seen that, The Mask is great. Or The Truman Show. If you have not seen The Mask or The Truman Show, there's your 2 5 out of 5 movies for this weekend that are fantastic if you haven't seen any one of those. Randy Fine has been kicked out of 109 buffets. Best economy ever, Jack. So that's what Biden said. Best economy ever, panicking. Owen, the only one willing to prove he's gangster. I've been proving it my whole life, man. Our grandfathers didn't die in World War II for fairies like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro to call their grandchildren Nazis. That's all right. I predict Shapiro and Levin will, they won't be in the same spot, let's say, they're in today in a couple years. I don't think so. Interpret that how you want. As far as relevancy or location, I don't care. But they're not. They're losing their relevancy. They're losing their trust. They're losing their dignity as far as the American people are concerned, drastically by the day. 78 voted for Trump twice. Glad to see you young guys pointing out the truth. You got it, Dennis. It's all we do here. Lutnick put poison pill in tariff structure. Then he had his bastard sons bet against tariffs, and they profited handsomely. That looks like the case. Looks like just pure corruption. So thank you, Stephen. Shiloh's retreat. Amen. Thank you, Shiloh. RFK could win 2028. He's got to step down now. RFK, it's just the truth. His voice is kind of a problem. He might be able to power through it. RFK and Tulsi Gabbard are probably the only ones that could ride out this administration and still maybe win on the other side. Maybe. But RFK came out and was like, oh, the glyphosate decision is actually good now. Oh, come on. No, it's not. But I really like RFK. That video he did with Kid Rock, the Maha video he did with Kid Rock, it's pretty funny. It's funny. I like RFK. I do. But he's got the Israel flag and he's got his own. So I just don't know. Another big-nosed conspirator, Lutnick. Gets rich off America in our faces. Man, this world would thrive. Oh, you're really pushing it now. You're just trying to get me in trouble. Jennifer K. If the federal government were to cut our taxes, how would they make up that loss? Well, what do they print money out of thin air? Trump was just like, oh, $10 billion, $10 billion for the border peace. It's just $10 billion for Israel. That's all it is. It's $10 billion to build the new Gaza Strip for Israel. It's literally all it is. So they just print money. The money's fake. They don't need our taxes. It's just to enslave us. I want to hear you say it now. Chump is the deep state. No way he can keep making all these decisions and defending all these people. It's been 5 years. He knows what he is doing. 40 chess, my ass. Say it now on air. Okay, Trump is, I don't know if it's fair to say deep state because he's new to the game, but Trump is now the corrupt establishment. And the deep state seems to be running Trump and his administration. So that's what I think. That's what I say every day. And you know, I don't do this thing where you put something and you make demands in the super chat like you're going to boss me around like Dance Monkey Dance. So we don't do that anyway. I saw the Lord Jesus crying over the killing of women and children in Gaza. Warning, watch out for God. He is their protector. Yeah. Owen, would you please shut up about Israel? I stand with God's chosen people. Oh, I see. Yeah. Uh-huh. 7K. Cha-ching. Gregory Wright, you know better than that. Lindsey Graham flapping his stupid soup cooler is the best campaigning that Democrats could ever ask for. Unreal. And Trump is campaigning with him and for him. It's unreal. It's unreal. JV. AJ is sorry. Call him. Team up again. We need it. Is that a direct reference to something? I don't know. Nothing that I know of. I told you the last contact I had with Alex was he sent me a text insulting me and rubbing it in my face that James Comey was indicted. That was the last contact I had with Alex. I didn't respond. He sent me a text insulting me and said, haha, James Comey's indicted, told you black pillar. So I don't know of anything else since then. How'd that one go? Huckabee pretending he's not going to hell is wild. Ooh. Trump says he's not going to heaven either, so that's weird. Did you see that? He's talking about, I probably won't get into heaven. Maybe you will. What's up with that? You better keep asking questions. It's the only thing that keeps us free. Charlie Kirk. Amen. Wolves and Finance, a new video Sunday. Alpha Jerk BFH. Is that your video? Corn Pop, Magic Money Hats. You guys like that one. That was totally unintentional. That was a good one, wasn't that? That was fun. Y Rex, what watch are you sporting today? Oh, and this is a G-Shock. I don't really like G-Shocks, actually. But I think it was one of those AI ads. I was talking about watches, and then it popped up. I don't usually like G-Shock, but this was a limited edition. I don't know if they still make it or not, but when that was what they got me. That was the hook, because they know I'm a limited edition guy. I like limited edition stuff. I'm kind of a sucker for limited edition, and I'm a sucker for gold. So it was like gold limited edition. It's like, oh my gosh. So the AI got me on that one. I want to call. I can't till later. Is that an innuendo? Mr. Bobo. Owen, how much do you put into the idea that the left and right in America work together and elections/discourse are there distract/entertain us? I mean, yeah, to a certain degree, no doubt. It's like, yes, there's different levels, there's different degrees. Like there is a left and there is a right, but it's also more dynamic than that. But then it's also totally worthless. But yes, Democrat, Republican, it's like you're going to get little policy differences, but then it all balances it out in the larger scheme of things. And you always get the foreign interest and the special interest no matter what, no matter who wins. D. Nice Carino, God help us. Amen. Waymo, not Wayfair. Tampa, Florida will get those cars. Oh, yeah. Oh, I butchered my own joke. Well, guess that's why I'm not a comedian. Employee strong for life. TGIF. I spent and all tasks for the day are done. Friday afternoon movie recommendation. No horror. Have a great weekend. Well, if you haven't seen The Mask or you haven't seen The Truman Show, that's our recommendation for this weekend. John Korn. Hey, Owen. Thanks for speaking truth to power. Keep up the great work. Also, really digging the video game music. If I could make a suggestion, maybe play the Boomer Kuwanger theme from Mega Man. You know, I was never a Mega Man guy. And so most of the music I play, well, no, all of the music I play are from games that I played growing up. So it is a little catered to my tastes. But when I go through, like when I'm pulling this stuff up, the Mega Man music, all the other music pops up. So some of it's pretty good, but I just go with the games that I played. So it's a little biased there. I'll consider it, John, but actually, no, DJ Tyrant doesn't take requests, actually. So sorry, no. Pittsburgh, bad. Jay from Pittsburgh here. I didn't speed dial you for the sake of the new callers. Good to hear the phone calls. Brings back the Rush Limbaugh days. Yeah, we had a false start on that one too because we were a little rusty. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Elisa Lou has raccoon tail hair. What do you think now that you hear the story about it? It is a look. It is definitely a look. And then I don't know what that thing is. It wouldn't be, I'm not into that, but I'm not into that. So it doesn't really matter. Sam White, consider microdosing instead of drinking. No, probably not. Patrick O'Neill. Hey, Owen, big fan of yours. Wanted to know your thoughts on James Fishback. Really like Fishback. I've had him on the show. Fishback rallies are the new Trump rallies, and maybe we're going to go to one. You know, let me say this also. Fishback was on the, I think it was Fresh and Fit. And he's in a room full of these OnlyFans girls. And, you know, they're obviously talking about the proposed tax. And he had this moment. Honestly, it was one of the greatest moments. It's like one of those, I don't know, it didn't really get as much attention as I thought it should have. But it was like such a classic moment. He's sitting next to this OnlyFans girl, and he has like this fatherly moment. I don't know if James has any kids. I don't know this OnlyFans girl's situation. And I'm not trying to judge her. I don't know if she has a father involved or whatever. But it was like this moment. It was so organic. It was so pure. It was like so wholesome. And he's talking about the policy thing and the taxes and why he wants to do it. And she's talking about, how she got into it. And she wants to be a real estate person. And it's like this, it was like so wholesome and organic. And then he had like this fatherly moment, and it was so real. And at the end of it, you could tell she was like fighting back tears. And it was like, it was almost like no one had ever said this to her. And she was crying out, begging for somebody to say this stuff to her. And then it finally happened. And it was like she was almost drawn to tears. And it was so real. It was awesome, man. It was, man, if he pulls this deal off, we're pulling for James, man. We're pulling for James. And you can see the Donald's campaign is starting to get a little nervous. They're starting to feel it. Oh, and were you able to catch Tucker and Huckabee debate? Yeah, I had it playing. I played it through its entirety. You know, again, it's like I said, I'm running around, I'm shuffling around the house while it's on. I caught some parts really soundly and then probably missed some other parts. The opening was my favorite part, quite frankly. Movie for the weekend, Mel Gibson, The Patriot. Well, that's one. That's one of the greatest of all time. Let me call when I get home. Thought you were home. The Jerk with Steve Martin. You know, that's some old school taste. That's The Jerk with Steve Martin is some old school humor there. It's a good one. It's kind of off the shelf. He must hate those cans. Steve Martin, man. Much love, brother. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Big Mike. The Mega Man. Why waste time talking about the Epstein before the midterms when I can fantasize about Tucker all day? MAGA twinks. You do you, man. Owen Schroyer's boyfriend. If you ever come to Oregon, I'll buy you dinner. All right. I was in Portland once. I was there for, I think, a night or two. Not the best food, if I remember. I don't remember being blown away by any food. JV Free, as Christians, we must forgive, including AJ. What are you coming at me with this for? It's every day in the chat. I had nothing but positive things to say. All right. I forgive. I have no bad blood. I have nothing but good blood. I have nothing but love. I forgive. All right. There you go. You got it out of me. Oh, mi amor, would love for me to boss you around. Gigi Gazzanillo. Oh, Gigi. Oh, mi amor, Gigi. The G well, 1776, or the Thegui. Randy Fine reminds me of Nadler. Both are pigs. Fine is like the younger version of Nadler. That's a good one. I like that. Randy Fine is the Republicans' version of Jerry Nadler. We're going to go with that one. Sorry, messages came off wrong. Glad we both agree Trump is making bad decisions since no voice tone may have sounded demanding but didn't mean to. Oh, how about that on a little? How about that for the final super chat? We're all kumbaya. We're all kumbaya with DZ300. All good. Hey, you know I like the spicy super chats anyway, but I always have to lay it down. We don't do that. We don't take demands around here, but we like the spicy chats. You're all good. All right. Do calls on a Thursday next time. And here come the demands. It's always the wifeys too, you know? Like, where do you get off? I know, and I know how too, but we can't say, can we? Huh? All right, guys. Here's what we are going to do. I did this earlier today. As I said, I talked to the president of Patriot Protect. And we talked about all of this stuff that's going on as far as the threats, quite frankly, to your personal and private information. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play this interview, and we're going to get into a lot of the news stuff that's going on with this, because there was a ton of it in the news. Some of it I already knew. And what's funny is that some of it was actually in the news today, especially when we're talking about like fake AI calls during the tax season and stuff. One more super chat here. If you want a good Switch game, check out Tunic, as good as any Zelda title. Trust me, bro. You know, the Zelda games to me after N64 just got too much, man. They got way too much. It's like when you have to learn like 70 different things to beat the game, it's just like, I can't do it, especially as an adult. It's like if there's 5 or 6 different things I have to memorize how to do, I can do it. Or it's like I can put the game down and I'm busy for a month and whatever. I can't pick it up and you can pick it back up and play. Now it's like they have all different things. I just can't keep up with the new games. That's why I prefer the original Zeldas. But I don't know. Well, maybe we'll look into it. Maybe we'll just drop the news and just do video game streams. Isn't that what's in these days? Is that what the kids are doing? So guys, I wanted to catch up here. This is the president of Patriot Protect. We did a little news coverage on this today. He said, hey, let's come on the show. Let's do some news coverage. And then he said, I want to offer your audience the 50% off special. So that's what we're going to do to close out the show today. I hope you will stick around and listen to this interview and understand the threats that are actually. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in as far as all of this is concerned, because what you're going to see is it's very real. Obviously, I'll tell my story with this because I've had to deal with it myself. And then we get into some of the news headlines, including stuff from today. That was in the news that I was actually amazed at when I was looking this stuff up. Keep doing shorts, have more open lines, like and share, subscribe, gracias. Yes, guys, please subscribe. Please give us a follow on YouTube. Means a lot. Thank you for that reminder. Rumble super chats? No. I've explained this before. The problem is the Rumble super chats, just they don't stay in my system, and so it's just a whole thing. So no, we just do the YouTube. We just do the YouTube super chats. We don't do the Rumble rants because they don't stick in the system. It's just a system thing. I will say StreamYard is trying to fix that. StreamYard is having a problem with X right now. That's why the live streams weren't popping up on X. I'm hoping StreamYard can work with Rumble to fix that situation as well. So we are hoping that these things get fixed. But for the meantime, I'm signing off for the week. I want you to hear from a sponsor, folks. These are the sponsors. These people make the show possible. Remember that. These are the people that make the show possible, okay, including Patriot Protect. You're gonna hear about this. We do some news, so it isn't just you're not gonna listen to a commercial. We do a lot of news coverage, and then I tell my story. He tells some stories, but it's actually crazy what goes on out there as far as the digital theft, the identity theft, your private information, your cards, bank accounts. I was actually amazed. Did you know about they spoof AI voices and then they call your family members to try to trick them into giving you money or giving them money? So this was a fun one. Had a lot of fun. Really appreciate our friends over at Patriot Protect. I sign off for the week. I hope you'll stick around for this. I really hope you'll support our friends at patriot-protect.com/Owen. And there's a 50% offer sitting for you at the end of this interview. Have a good weekend, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning into this, you know that there's an issue going around right now. Maybe you've seen emails. Maybe you've seen headlines. Maybe you have even been a victim of this personally, and that is digital information theft. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about addresses, phone numbers, spamming. It comes in all kinds of different ways. You may have even gotten an email from a subscription that you've signed up for on a website, maybe a product you've purchased on a website, and all of a sudden you get this email of a class action lawsuit or a warning that your data has been breached. It's becoming more and more common. Now, if you are unaware, this is something that's near and dear to my heart, and here's why. Now, I'm a public figure, and what comes along with that is there's constantly people trying to mess with you and do harm to you. So I've been doxxed, my private address, phone number, and in light of this, I've had death threats sent to my house. I've had SWAT teams sent to my house, just you name it, the worst stuff. I've also been a victim of bank fraud. So unfortunately, I know this stuff personally. Now, me as a public figure, okay, maybe it comes with the territory. I did not expect for this to also impact my family. And this is what really drove me crazy. My family didn't ask for this. I'm in the public light. Okay, you're going to get some of this, but not my family. I had multiple members of my family, just because their addresses, phone numbers, and names were attached to mine, also have to deal with this harassment. So what we want to do is we want to stop this from happening to you. Trust me, it's happened to me personally. You don't want to go through this. We want to stop this from happening to you. And the good news is, as this is becoming a bigger and bigger issue, as everything is going online and everything is going digital with your data, the marketplace is starting to catch up. And there are now products and services that can actually help you stop this from happening. So what we're going to do today is we're going to bring in one of the experts from Patriot Protect, Skip Holst, who is going to tell you exactly what he recommends and how you can stop this from happening to you, and also tie this into what's going on every single day with these new digital hackers. So, Skip, thank you for joining us.
Owen, it's really a pleasure. It's really a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. And for everybody that's listening, we don't want to have to do this. This is, this cybersecurity and being interested in being involved with keeping people safe. It's only a calling because we have to do it. 20 years ago, the scams that we had was so different. Things coming in the mail and calls from long lost cousins and stuff like that, saying you got a little long lost uncle died and you get roped into some financial scam. But in any functioning economy, we wouldn't have to be doing this. The ground underneath our feet is just changing so quickly with AI, and the arrows in the quiver, so to speak, that these companies, these scammers and the hackers have to get at you and get at your pocketbook. it's the same as it's ever been. And I'm so sorry, Owen, for what you had to go through. You got to see, unfortunately, the really darker side of what is the cost of having your personal information exposed by all of these data brokers and all these companies. It's really sick stuff. And I'm glad that, our service exists for somebody like yourself and others who are interested in their personal safety. We're 2A advocates, but you don't want to have to use it if you don't have to, by preventing somebody from getting to your door in the first place.
What I was so surprised at, and I said this in the opening, what I was so surprised at was how easily they were able to access my family. And what was even crazier, when you kind of go through the process of, trying to snuff this stuff out and make sure it's not there, I was amazed at how they basically had an entire family tree. It's like we were able to find some of the sources of where they got the private information. And then they also had essentially a layout of my entire family tree, and not just my direct family. We're talking about extended family. I'm talking about in-laws. That's what was so shocking about it, is that it's become so advanced now that they create entire family trees of personal information. Not like you said, like maybe spamming phone calls, spamming emails. God forbid somebody gets your debit card number or a password to one of your accounts. They got entire databases of your extended family now.
Oh yeah. I mean, think about it. This is it's an illegal business that they're in, but it's a business nonetheless. And anybody that's running a business is always measuring input versus output, right? Like what resources am I putting in to try to target somebody, a customer or whatever, or the resource itself, in this case, us and our pocketbooks and our information, our taxes, our retirement savings, our home address. So they're putting all this stuff together, and that includes points of weakness, which is your family members. I mean, even if you I urge everybody to do this, because if you haven't done it and aren't horrified already, buckle up, because you're going to have to. Go to Google, type in your name, type in your address, and press enter. And what you will see is dozens, if not hundreds, of sites that have your personal information. Again, exactly as you described, Owen, your name, your address, phone numbers, past addresses, and then the really scary stuff, which is your family members, their names, their ages, where they've lived. It's like, you just start clicking around in any one of these data broker sites like Fast People Search, True People Search, White Pages, Nuber. There's a million of them, and the thing is, they keep popping up, and there's more every day. So, needless to say, we don't sleep in that often. We're pretty busy. It's always a lot for us to get ahead of and stop.
Well, is that what they do? Do they create like mirror sites or like dummy sites where you're able to locate one of them? You just named some of the main ones. Do they then like just copy and paste these things to think that it's like you're going to play whack-a-mole with them?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you start to you start to look these companies up, and you're because they know what they're doing, and maybe you can find their address or their PO box, and then you look up the address and you realize it's like a UPS store in some strip mall somewhere. Point is that they're they hide behind being a company that just pops up because they are meant to be disposable. What they do, and this is something obviously that we focus on and address a lot, is that they often share common databases. And so what they're just call it, they reskin the company with a different name and a different kind of marketing campaign to be searchable. And they know their search engine optimization. They know how to manipulate the data sources. And basically what they want to be is the one that the cyber criminals click on when they're targeting people. That's really what this comes down to. And so, if it's this batch of data brokers that we cover today is going to look different than the batch of data brokers that we cover tomorrow, because it's just a constant moving target. And yes, that's exactly correct. They are, they're pulling off of the same databases, but they're just reskinning themselves and working on their own search engine optimization so that they can sell your private information, for pennies.
Here's another one. As I'm pulling all these headlines up, there's so many of them. Here's a question for you. How often do they catch these guys? I was amazed. My case, it got federal attention. The FBI got on my case. I think in the end of it, we had 5 different local jurisdictions, and then the FBI were all involved in my case. This is almost a year ago now. Nobody's been caught. Nobody's been arrested. And quite frankly, in my case, it was attempted murder. I mean, that's what it is. When you do a false police report and send a SWAT team to somebody's house, I don't know if you've seen the video, but I had multiple green lasers on my head, my neck, my back, my chest. So that's attempted murder. Nobody's been arrested for that. They really, I don't even think they have any leads at this point, despite all the different data points and everything we were able to give them with the fake pizza orders, the other food delivery stuff, the different sites where we were able to find where they pulled my private information. How often do these criminals even get caught?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know the answer to that. It's just they just don't. And there's a couple reasons for that. I mean, the first thing is the breadth of complaints that occur, right? This scamming happens to individuals, and so it's hard to pin down. There's no class action lawsuit that 30,000 Americans who have been scammed, in the last week or whatever, they're not going to get to find each other and get together and be able to do some sort of coordinated attack to trying to find the source, right? It's just not how it happens. And what are you going to do? You're going to target a Bitcoin address? It's feasibly impossible. So yeah, the answer is I've never heard of one. There's been a couple exposés in the last year or so. Bloomberg did some good work on this. The media outlet of looking at, I don't know how to put this any other way than saying like scam slave farms in Southeast Asia that literally have enslaved people that are sitting trying to scam you under horrible conditions because they're captured. And there was some in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia and Cambodia. And how is that enforced? Where does that? It's just not. So
you mean we can't send the Batman over there?
I mean, you can try. He's been pretty busy lately. Superman, frankly, he's been on a kryptonite kick of late, so he's been unavailable. It's what do we do? It's a crazy. There's no way to functionally target this, especially when it's like an extrajudicial. It's outside of American borders a lot of the time. Even in the case of when a lot of these companies get hacked, right? That takes a slightly more sophisticated hacker to do it. I mean, really, what it comes down to is they end up, targeting employees at a large company, and this was the case in one of the breaches we reported on, in the DoorDash breach, where they just found somebody. They did a phishing campaign, emailed a bunch of employees, and then one of the employees was dumb enough to click on it and give them the keys to the castle. So that is done by slightly more sophisticated, often state or state aligned actors in Russia and China. And what they do is ransomware attacks by hacking in, encrypting, and then demanding a fee to unencrypt the company data, which almost always gets paid, because what are you going to do? Be a hospital system somewhere in the United States and not spend $150,000 or whatever it is to get all of your patients' information back? That's just not how it works.
What is the most common one you see? But the first time I ever dealt with this was probably had to be like 10 years ago, when I had some bank fraud and some charges started popping up on my debit card. And if you're not really monitoring this stuff, it's kind of easy for them to sneak stuff in. It's kind of like what they do with email. They'll like dummy. Most people have, say, an Amazon account, and so they'll dummy an Amazon email. Like you said, it'll be some phishing email, and you think, oh, they're asking me about an Amazon purchase or something, and you click on that, but it's not Amazon at all. It was fake. And then all of a sudden they're into your system. And so if you're not watching your debit cards, I forget what it was. I think they were dummying, it might have been a Netflix or something. They were dummying some common subscription that, you see on your debit report and you think, oh, whatever, that's just my subscription. And then once they kind of ding you for $10 a couple times, then they take the big swings. And so they ended up going for a couple $1,000s with me a couple times. Luckily I had some fraud protection and they alerted me, and it ended up coming from where they determined it came from was a tobacco company in Canada, right? And so they called me. They're like, hey, you've never made a purchase in Canada, and you've not made a tobacco purchase in Canada. Is this you? And I said, no, it's not me. And so there were like 3 or 4 charges that they tried to ring up in a couple of minutes, and luckily that got caught and then stopped. But it's like, that's kind of what they do, unless you're paying really close attention. Like, is that really an email from Amazon? Is this really a debit charge for this subscription I have? And it's like, okay, once they can get away with it a couple times, then they feel like they've got you. They try to reel you in for the big one.
That's exactly right. The question is, if the question is, what are some of the most common ones that we see? I mean, we see them all the time, the kind of surface level stuff that we get hit with, right? Like those texts that you get saying, hey, your package is held up by the United States Postal Service, and it gives you some, incomprehensible URL to click on. And then, it's that's a simple phishing attack. We can kind of know, most people kind of know not to click on that stuff now. So that's one thing. Honestly, the thing that we're seeing more of now, actually, that's becoming more common, is phone calls that you're getting. A customer reached out to us the other day asking us about this. A phone call that you get saying, and they know your name and address, and they're calling from a number either that's spoofing your area code, or it's an 877 number, which is harder to track because anybody can just purchase one of those. And they say they have your name and address because they look you up on the data brokers that we remove you from, right? That Patriot Protect removes you from. And they say, we're trying to serve you a lawsuit, and we're just confirming your name and address. And the point of that is that it stops you, it freaks you out, right? Because here's somebody that's on the phone telling you that they're trying to target you. But it's just for a legal purpose. Now, if you reverse search the phone number, you don't find anything. So that's your first clue that it's a scam. And they even give you a reference number to call back. They say, you don't trust us? Here's your reference number. You can call back. What they're doing is they are casing you to see how gullible you are. Right? This is they're phishing. In fact, because they have your name and address, this is what's known as spear phishing, because they're using.
And by the way, that's how advanced this is. You say it's like, oh, they're casing you. This is like, this is what big time criminals do. They case the joint, they case the target. This is how advanced this stuff has become.
Yeah, and we haven't even touched on how they're using AI for this, but yeah, you're exactly right. They spear fish for you. They're using a rifle rather than shotgun approach by using your name and address. And what they're doing is, based off of whether or not you just hang up or call back, use your reference number, they are writing that down and putting you in the maybe category, or this is a guy that's got gullible written on his ceiling category, right? They know they're telling their superiors now, hey, I got one on the hook, because it's cheap. It's cheap to get a bunch of people in a call center sort of thing, to get them and calling these people to try to figure out whether or not they're gullible. And then they give that to the more advanced agents, and that's where it really comes down to. So we're seeing a lot more of that now.
And here's an example too, and maybe you've heard about this one. This is, I think, maybe a little more rare case. I had somebody that tried to, I guess they were able to get my grandmother's phone number. My grandmother's in her 90s now, and she's still with us and still with it enough, but they do a call to my grandma, and the first time they pretended that they were law enforcement, and they said something along the lines of, oh, I was in trouble, whatever, trying to get money out of her, right? It's like, oh, you need to rescue your grandson. He needs money to, avoid jail or whatever it is. And she's with it enough that she said, oh, okay, hold on. And then she called my mother, and my mom was like, no, that's not happening. You need to hang up. Okay. But they got her on the line. They came back a second time, and this is maybe where you're getting into the AI stuff, and this is where it's starting to get wild. They came back a second time with an AI voice of me to try to make it sound like me. Now, luckily, she, the first time she was with it enough to say, okay, hold on, this doesn't sound right. So she did it again. She called my mom. My mom said, no, that's not right. So I don't know if you were going to go there next with the AI, but that's how crazy this stuff is getting. Now, that might be a little more of a rare case because I'm somebody whose voice is out there on the internet hours every day, but that's what they were able to do. And so they think, oh, hey, this guy's got an old grandma. Let's give it a go.
Listen, Owen, you're knocking on something really important here, because that's yes, your case is specific because you have, hours of your recorded voice on the internet. However, you start to ask yourself, okay, well, that might be the case for Owen, but little old me, who would be targeting me? How would they get my voice? And to that, I will tell you this. What they now do is they get you on the phone for something innocuous, right? Something that's, they call you saying, like with the we want to serve you legal papers or something like that. They have you on the phone, you say a couple words, and that can be enough for an AI model to clone your voice and then contact the older, more vulnerable relatives that maybe own a home. Maybe that's an opportunity to do a title theft. There's a million different ways that they can be exploited. So, we talked about this even as early as 2 years ago, where we say, people were thinking that scammers are out here, using bow and arrows when they've moved on to gunpowder, right? The AI is like a nuclear sub. It's such a more effective and cheaper tool for them to use to target you. Think about that. I mean, 2 years ago, if you're a cyber criminal syndicate, you would have to hire or enslave, or some amount of cost, a bunch of people to do exactly that. Have, they get a call list of 1,000 numbers, to go through for the day across the United States, see who's on the hook, see who's vulnerable, see who's bewildered, and then get them, and then, put that up to the higher ups and then move on to the next list the next day. But now with AI, it makes everything so much less costly as far as, labor hours go. Again, this is a business just like any other. It just happens to be an illegal business that ends up getting away with a lot of it. A lot of the times these things aren't prosecuted because the victims are embarrassed and don't want to say that they felt that they fell victim to a love pig butchering scam, as it's known, where it's like, they fatten up the pig before before you know it, they're going to the CVS, buying, iTunes gift cards, sending $500 to God knows where. That's how it happens.
And I guess you bring up another one there. There's so many different angles that they go about this stuff. It's like they're constantly finding new angles. I'm scrolling through the webs here. There's so many stories. I've heard of the voice. Obviously, I've heard of the AI voice cloning scam before. I didn't realize how big it was. Some of these stories are talking about millions of victims here. How hard is that? Because obviously, I've gone through the process with you guys. I've gone through the process with Patriot Protect. And okay, there's certain things where it's like, look, here's the stuff, your address, your phone number, other prior addresses. And it's like, okay, you can kind of go from there and find some of the find some of the big sites that do it. What about with the spam calls and emails? Are you guys able to block that too? Because I've heard, spam calls kind of became like old hat. It's like you weren't getting as much spam calls and emails anymore. It seems like they're coming back. It seems like the spam calls and emails are starting to come back again.
Totally agree. And again, this is part of the reason why the scam calls are coming back, is because they're getting people on the phone and trying to get them to speak and so they can clone their voice. They may not use it against you because what they use, right, is not like a single piece of information against you. And this is one of the things that happened recently is what these more advanced cyber criminal syndicates are doing is packaging all this information about you, right? So it's not just your social security number. It's also your name, your address, all the things that the data brokers put out there about you. And it's when they can complete the picture, when they can case you properly, that's when they start to really hone in, to give you. I mean, really what these data brokers are, it's a treasure map to your house. It's a treasure map to your pocketbook. So the scam calls are a piece of that. Most of these phone numbers, scam call lists, are easily gotten by just Googling your name, right? I can Google if you've never signed up for an opt-out for Patriot Protect or an opt-out service. What you can do is just Google your name and address, or Google your name, and I bet within 2 to 3 clicks, I can get your phone number, right? If you're an American over the age of 18, these companies are publishing your information out there. So just by virtue of us of you being a Patriot Protect customer, yes, we take you off of Google. We make you effectively ungoogleable, for all of the commercial data brokers, private data brokers that we can take you off of. That is where the primary source of information is, right? It's free for any cyber criminal syndicate to Google you worldwide. So if you take that information off, what we are doing is making you a vastly higher cost target for them to target. They just won't even bother with you. Why would they? Right? They're doing a numbers game. So if you have, our service or care at all about making sure that you are safeguarding yourself from these cyber criminals, why would they bother with you? They'll just go on to the other jerk that isn't thinking about this or taking control at all.
Yeah. Well, it's like somebody that wants to, beat you up and take your wallet. If you look like you can bench 300 pounds and, squat 800 pounds, they're probably going to leave you alone, right? They're going to look for the skinny guy who looks like he can barely lift a wet blanket. And that's the easier target. It is, they call it, I guess, tax season. We're coming up on tax season. What about these fraudulent calls and emails? Almost everybody's probably dealt with this by now. Oh, it's the IRS. Oh, it's a tax service. Oh, you owe taxes or this or that or the other thing. How often do you hear about that? That seems to be one that's fairly common.
Yeah, we've got to be the busiest folks outside of accountants this time of year. This is a super, super vulnerable time, in these next couple months for any American taxpayer, because this is a way in, right? It's a confusing process. You don't really know which company to trust. If you use TurboTax, which we'll talk about in a second, because they had a big leak recently, and you don't know what company is actually handling your information. So there's a million different ways that this can happen. I'll explain at least a couple of them. Stolen identity tax refund theft. That's one of the big ones, right? And how does that work? A cyber criminal or a criminal or whatever gets hold of your social security number and date of birth and files your taxes for you. Now, you might ask yourself, like, okay, well, how do they get my social security number? Any one of the dozens of social security breaches that happened in the last 12 months alone is enough to put social security numbers out there. And then you ask yourself, well, okay, they've got my social security number. How do they get my date of birth and name and address? Well, that's easy. If you have not signed up for an opt-out service, it's 2 clicks away with one Google, right? It's nothing for them to do that. So what they do is they file your taxes on your behalf, and they put their routing number and account number for their bank in place of yours. So your return gets sent to them because you did not safeguard your identity online. Simple as that. Easily over several hundreds of $1 million in refunds stolen just in 2025. So that's the number one. That's easily the biggest one that's happening. And if you haven't safeguarded yourself against this, you're vulnerable this year too.
I'm pulling up multiple stories here that are from today that are covering this. I don't know if this has to do with the big TurboTax one that you're discussing, if you want to get into that now. But I've got multiple headlines just from today talking about these fraudulent IRS and tax scams from phishing calls and emails. So, yeah, this is even in the news as of this day.
Yeah, of course it is. And again, it's not going to stop it doesn't just go. The problem doesn't just go away. TurboTax in the last couple in the last 6 years, they've been had 3 major credential stuffing attacks. Hackers use they use stolen passwords from other sites to access users' accounts. In fact, that's one of the other services that we provide is our blackout service, which is to scan the dark web for what of you has been leaked out there and is for sale about you in the last. We go all the way back to 2008. So your passwords, your emails. We scan for your email and your phone number. And we'll tell you what's out there on you. So, this credential stuffing is very simple, right? You have your password that you've reused since, 2010 or whatever, and they just try it, right? They have these data dumps that are out there. They have your email address because you didn't take control of your data, and then they just try it. Maybe it's worth it. And if they get in, that's when the trouble starts, and they'll be able to log into your TurboTax account or whatever, your try out the different passwords, irs.gov, and they'll take your tax refund. It's extremely common, and it breaks my heart every time we hear a customer saying, that it happened to them, and that's why they signed up for us. And I'll tell you what, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to take control now than it is to deal with one of these things if you get scammed.
Yeah, especially if any of it fails in the process. Like I said, they hit me when I had the debit fraud. They dinged me for like a couple $10 deals, smaller charges that I just didn't notice. And then that's when they go for the big one. It's like, if you're not able to catch that, it's not going to be fun to have to deal with that. And then good luck clawing that money back. That's just money stuff, right? All right. Okay. Nobody gets hurt. The other stuff that I dealt with as far as, the private addresses and the family members, that's when for me, it was like, okay, I got to go next level. I can't risk that for myself and my family anymore. Now, I will say this, what's so strange is, because I'm looking at some of these stories, maybe with TurboTax, it's like you get, they put a lot of private information in there, and you could understand why somebody might target that, why a digital criminal might target that. A couple other things that were in the news recently, Panera Bread, Under Armour, like what? I go get a sandwich, I go buy some shorts. How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, these companies, they lower their cost of customer acquisition by knowing more about you, right? They know when they know more about you, they can target you for the right deal at the right time. There's a million different ways that the reason why your information is valuable to them. So the question is, well, if they have all this information about me, what are they doing with it? Well, they might be using it themselves, but it's a lot more valuable to cyber criminals if they have that information and they can do more nefarious things and sell you a sandwich, right? So they collect this information, but there's no real regulation that says how they have to, protect it. And more importantly, there's nearly no consequence aside from, 100,000 sandwich buyers across the United States to get together for a class action lawsuit, which just won't happen, right? There's no consequences for Panera Bread getting hacked and having all this information stolen. Ditto with Under Armour. Ditto with AT&T, which had one of the largest data breaches in history happen in 2024. Every single AT&T customer had their social security number and et cetera, stolen and put on the dark web. In fact, we see it all the time. We have a joke in the office about we know who an AT&T customer is. We know who has AT&T as their cell phone plan because it shows up in their blackout service. So, it's just
that's brutal.
It is what it is. It's just every time you hear all these data breaches and it's in the news and you think, wow, that really sucks. I don't know what, I hope it doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
And it will.
It's just a numbers game. And I look at it like this. Most people, a home security system has changed throughout the years, right? A home security system has changed, and it's kind of gotten to the point now where it's very consumer friendly and even affordable to have a video surveillance system, and then you can get kind of advanced as you want past that. But having a video camera surveillance system has become very consumer friendly and very affordable, and it's kind of a normal thing now. I think the same thing is going to happen with your guys' services, and everybody eventually is going to get hit by this, right? I mean, it's just a numbers game. Eventually, everyone is going to get hit by this unless you take the proper precautions. Unfortunately for me, I was the dummy that waited until it got to the worst point. So unfortunately, that was the case for me. But I will say, look, guys, Patriot Protect, obviously, if you listen to my show, they are a big sponsor of the show. But it's not just that they sponsor the show and we appreciate for them that. They are officially my digital protection service. They are the digital protection service for the WIN network, for my business. And I got the most advanced services. I know you guys have different levels of service. I don't know if you want to get into that right now. But obviously, guys, yes, Patriot Protect, you've heard the name before. They sponsor the show, but they are my personal digital protection service. After everything I had to go through with my family, that's who I chose to go with for myself, my business, and I sleep a little easier at night now, knowing that these online criminals can't get after me and my family. So I appreciate you guys not only for sponsoring the show, but providing that protection for me and my business and my family.
Look, Owen, it's an honor. It's an honor to protect, our customers. And I think, for anybody that's been listening to this bit, we're sincere about what we do. And we're very serious about this. And we care very much about our customers. And it breaks our heart every time somebody doesn't, comes to us when it was too late. I see somebody in your chat that was talking about, another opt-out service, and I won't name names. What makes us different, and we can't say this for any of the other companies, is that as far as we know, we're the only ones that are 100% USA based. Everything that we touch, everything that we do with your data is done without human touch. And unfortunately, a lot of these other companies, and I won't name names, they outsource a lot of the stuff offshore to God knows where. That's touching your most sensitive information. We're 100% USA based, and that can't be said for the other ones. So as far as our packages go, and I encourage everybody to look on our website to take a look. And again, this is not meant to be a commercial. This is just, we don't want to see anybody get hurt. As much as we are seeing other folks getting hurt when they don't take control of their data. Take a look and see which package is right for you based on your threat level. We have our family plan, which covers 2 people. We very, very, very much recommend this. And I'll say this too, Owen, we typically give a 15% discount if people use your promo code Owen at patriot-protect.com/Owen. For the next 72 hours, we're going to go ahead and make that 50%, 50. If you buy our annual plan, it is half off. We really hope you take advantage of this because it's the cheapest that it's going to be for the rest of the year. And especially coming into tax season, the question you have is, why leave yourself exposed? There's just no reason to do it. It's so cheap too, compared to actually getting.
Honestly, I look at it like this, and I'm not a big night out type of guy. But yeah, it costs you one night out, and you can protect yourself, your family, your business for a year. And now with 50% off coupon code Owen, it's like half a night out. So now it's only half a night out for the next 3 days.
Listen, what do you want to get? Do you want to get, hacked for the cost of 1 Miller High Life per month? I mean, come on, it doesn't make sense. It's so cheap compared to the consequences. I never understand when somebody is not bothered by having their name and address and family members Googleable. I'll just never understand it. I've seen too many, bad stories.
Well, and guys, if you want to stress test this for yourself before somebody else does it for you, as Skip was saying at the beginning here, go ahead and try to find your own private information. Tell a friend of yours, hey, see if you can find my private information, and they'll be able to get it back to you probably within 5 minutes or less. That's how easy this stuff was. And unfortunately, you just don't think about it, and you don't want to learn about it the hard way. So Skip from patriot-protect.com/Owen. Again, guys, listen, for the next 72 hours, if you're listening to this, for the next 72 hours, coupon code Owen gets you 50% off. Normally 15% off, now gets you 50% off an annual plan. It's the cost of a night out. It's the cost of a coffee per month, one of those fancy coffees that's no good for you, per month right now with coupon code Owen. So, Skip, we do appreciate you guys sponsoring the show. That does mean a lot to me and my audience. But I also appreciate the service you guys are providing to me, my family, and my business so that I don't have to go through that hell again.
Listen, it's only because we like you and your audience. Aside from that, I got to get back to work. We got to get making sure everybody's covered here.
That's good. That's good. All right, get back to work. 24/7 around the clock. They take the information offline, and then they're monitoring the internet, the interwebs 24/7 in case it ever pops up again. They're there waiting to strike it back down. That's patriot-protect.com/Owen. God bless and Godspeed, guys.